And do?
No, I'm not.
Wait, let
Okay.
Pensive go.
Anything?
This is good. This is good. I actually want to hear Pensive go.
Well, I don't
All
really
right.
care, Pro.
I draw a lot
trying
from
to
a lot of
get
to the heart of the
religions.
matter.
All right, Tosh, how do you feel about where the universe came from?
Truly, in terms of my belief, I think the universe doesn't come from anything. I think the universe is always self-sustained. Like I lean towards like bounce theory.
So reductive physicalist, eternal universe. Okay.
Okay, and if you had to ask yourself, is morality stance dependent or independent? What would you say?
I would say stance dependent. I'm pretty sure.
So you think morality is like subjective?
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Truth, this really sounds like a lot of atheism.
It really does.
I would say many atheists would agree.
Yeah, it sounds. Hey, Tosh. Tosh, how do you feel about miracles or supernatural stuff?
I mean, as a physicalist, I can't really say anything about supernatural. But that's so tough. That's so tough, man. Because I'm very much in big quotations a spiritual person. I believe that there is definite direction of what's happening, right? Like I'm very hard determinist. I don't think that
That's what we also get that. That's what we most atheists also
I
get.
know.
This sounds like a lot of
Again,
atheism, Dr. Truth. You want to retract the statement now?
Pensive. Listen. Again, if we were to shake, like I was going to shake hands with you on the thing that you said, right? Like I'm not disagreeing with that.
Wait. So then we can just shake hands and nap each other up and like smoke or something. It's mostly Dr. Truth who said no. He disagreed with what me.
Yeah, he's like really.
Well, and so
I don't
did
know, Dr. Truth is a moron.
It's like a typical pantheist. He said one thing and now he's saying the opposite. So I mean, he totally.
No. Wait, because of what Pensive said. If we're talking about so what Pensive said in terms of the if we're just if we can agree that the belief is a symmetry breaker, right? But in terms of like how our worldviews actually look and like how we think of the universe, so on and so forth, it's pretty much symmetrical.
You guys read like Spinoza? You guys probably would know this.
Yeah. But
I mean,
let's just say
you and I might have similar views, but that doesn't make us, that doesn't make me an atheist or you a theist.
No, and that's the thing.
What are your views on? Okay, well then let's just
symmetrical.
do very simple. Let's do like some more detective work because apparently my Sherlock Holmes intellectually wasn't enough. Okay, Dr. Truth, what do you feel about metaethics?
I'm more interested in what Josh actually believes. You know what I feel about metaethics. Doesn't really matter at this point. I mean, we're not going to go through. If I'm a reductive physicalist, does that mean we somehow, share the same belief system? It's ridiculous.
No, because I'm actually like
Josh,
a panpsychist. I adopt a view like David Gloff.
Ease back a little bit. Josh, let me ask you a question. What does it mean that God is in the universe? Because I think what Pensive is trying to say, and I understand, is that they just feel like everything is from the universe. So what's the difference? Why do you think it's different than an atheistic, naturalistic view at all, Tosh? Or is it not for you?
To me, there's a giant disconnect.
Please elaborate and listen, Pensive.
I got you. There's a giant disconnect from our relationship with reality itself, with the universe itself. We disconnect ourselves from it. We think that things are like very random. We think that things are like atheists. When I say we, like how I used to think, that there is nothing connecting me to this thing. There's so many different options that could actually be happening, and it's kind of just left up to an ambiguous stream, I guess, for lack of a better word right now. But in terms of like my viewpoint or a pantheist viewpoint is more so the connection with it, is that this thing does have qualities that are outside of just like this kind of cold viewpoint of life or this cold viewpoint of reality itself.
I see. Did you taking notes, Pro and Pensive, on that? Because there's a key difference.
You mean You mean when we consider the thing I didn't ask, we similarly get a symmetry breaker, but when we consider the thing I did ask him to do,
that's the
we
issue.
got the symmetry breaker. We didn't get the symmetry breaker.
That's the
Look,
thing.
irreducible, how do you feel about
the truth,
Magalian
he
like
did say this.
predicates? Like maybe we'll find a convergence, but then I ask you like, oh, well, let's not consider Magalian predicates. What do we think about Russellian predicates? And then we find a difference, but then we only find a difference because we asked the question that I didn't ask, right? Like,
So,
you know, like
Tosh,
it certainly makes a lot of sense now.
yeah. Tosh, so you believe instead of being like cold, random particles in energy states like an atheist would hold to as a naturalist, you believe there's some life or there's something more to it? Or could you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So to me, that there is almost a sense of being to it. You know, like there's a sense of almost like the Brahman, right? Where there is a oneness, and that's where, like, again, like that the issue.
What's your
with
feeling about the afterlife, Tosh? Do you believe in
You're a
reincarnation?
monist?
I don't
or anything
believe
like
that. I don't believe that life ever truly ends. I don't believe in beginnings or ends in that sense. I think that is our brains trying to keep up and make benchmarks.
Oh,
What
based.
happened? What happens
this
then?
guy,
Your
this guy affirmed B theory. W.
Another thing most atheists commit themselves
Most
to.
atheists affirm too.
Another thing. Let's write that
But
down on the
you
list.
think that,
But
what does that even?
So
what difference
in
does
that
make?
sense, though, in that exact sense, in what people would call a quote unquote spiritual belief system, is that I don't think that a state of being ever truly comes or goes. Right? Our energy has been here since the creation. There
So
are
do
like
your
quote unquote
consciousness
creation.
lives
I don't
on,
believe in creation,
Tosh?
but you know what I'm saying.
I'm basically saying change doesn't exist. Ha! Babe, he
sense,
thinks
yes.
change is an illusion.
Change
Wait,
is an illusion.
so would you guys say that? So would you guys say
Well,
that
I think we've
atheists
established
are-
a difference. Thank you for clearing that up for us. Vincent, take notes.
Wait, hold on. Would you
What do you
guys
mean
say
take
that,
notes? He literally did the thing I asked not to do.
Wait, guys,
I
hold
mean,
on. Would you
totally
guys say that? Wait,
total symmetry breaker, and
Wait, guys,
is critical.
Wait, pause real quick. Would you guys say that like atheists or pantheists?
No,
Like,
no.
Would you guys take
no.
like the same position that like Shark takes, where he says like atheist or pantheist?
I mean, I would just say that they're like, I don't even want to say atheists or pantheists,
No, they're not.
but like they hold like the distinction again, like would be that of what Tosh said is that of like the way of their beliefs and their connection to that of the view. Opposed to, but like their metaphysical background, it's literally nothing different. I kid you not. They don't like the spirit, the Abrahamic religion and all that stuff. The miracles, they reject all that nonsense. They also don't affirm like presentism, which like most classical theists like hold to, or classical theists hold to. They like what Toss said. He thinks change is an illusion, which is affirming B
When
theory.
you don't agree
Which
with
is most like
theism, that makes
atheists
you the
affirm B
same?
theory. So a lot of like a lot of things of what
what you
Tosh
do
says
believe,
in like
not what
that
you
of the
don't
background, right? It's
Not what you
basically
do
like
believe.
most a Dr. Tooth, muzzle yourself.
What you do believe.
Muzzle yourself.
Wait,
You're
can I-
muzzle yourself,
okay,
like
and this
character.
is-
You know,
and this is
I
what's
think
really
I've
weird.
changed my mind. You've convinced me, Pensive. I think that you and ISO are totally pantheists. I think you're going to go through a cycle. You're going to reunite with Brahman. You're going to believe that evil doesn't exist. You're going
What's
to just
funny is I'm not even an atheist.
You
Dr.
convinced
Truth.
me.
I'm not even an
I give
atheist.
in.
That's why it's so
You're
funny.
now a pantheist. You're totally a pantheist. You just convinced me. Impressive.
I'm an agnostic, truly, but
Wait, no,
I
like,
don't know. I think you're a pantheist. I don't see. There's no symmetry breaker. So you know you.
Any forms of
Dr.
physicality is
True.
false. You
Well,
know,
the
actually,
obvious
that is
symmetry
kind of
breaker-
like something I was going to ask Lucien. It's like, Tosh, how would you like reconcile that with the view that you're like a physicalist if you think change is an illusion? Ooh, because like that's that's a big tension right there.
Oh yeah, but to be clear, I actually take a view of normative area theory, and I actually would adopt a view of philosophy of mind. So that's the obvious symmetry breaker.
Thank you, Sebastian.
There are theists that they're all over the place. They're idealists, they're dualists, they're physicalists. It means nothing. So Tosh, you do believe that the universe is divine.
Yes.
That's typically what a pantheist believes, right?
What's meant by divine?
The universe is divine. Yes, there's a divine nature
yeah.
to the universe. that there
Goodness,
is a.
taking like an reptilian account.
Well, let's ask Tosh if he would you agree that you would say the universe is divine?
Based off of the definitions that I've seen, and now that I'm looking at again, just to refresh my mind, I would say yes.
Okay, now that's good because every time you say something, Pensive and ISO are lumped in with you. Pensive, I'm impressed that you feel like the universe is divine. Boom.
What's meant by divine?
Yeah, I just like how you didn't. Yeah, what is meant by divine?
I concede. Both of you guys are pantheists, and
This is it.
you feel like
Yes, converted into
you feel like
Dude,
this
Dude,
is
this is like not being
divine.
wrong.
You're gonna
Dude,
keep
this is what
cycling
Apollo
through
does,
on the
dude. Like, this
reincarnation
is what I'm saying.
merry-go-round.
Apollo does.
And I can't
Like
wait.
your
I want to
coat,
be
by the
there
way.
when you reunite with Brahman.
This is like the
ISO.
reductio to like anime debaters, dude. Like,
Anime debaters?
like God, I hope wrong.
Yeah.
Gosh, like, what do you think something being divine means?
Me personally, being godlike, being a deity is a good one, and or it says a supremely good is interesting as well. I kind of like that as well.
Okay,
Well, God is good all
something
the
with
time. It's
mind.
pretty
Okay, do you
relevant.
think the universe has a mind?
It's mind-like? I wouldn't classify it necessarily as a mind.
But you do think it's divinely good, right? So let me ask you something. The evolutionary pathway, which I agree with, over millions of years, it's very difficult, and there's suffering and limited resources, and there's the animal suffering that's horrific. How do you justify your belief that the universe is divinely good with the horrors and the suffering that the evolutionary pathway has just to get to us?
Interesting.
Wait,
So
hold
this is
on.
a
Actually, Tosh,
this is a
given
great
these
question.
answers, I'm sort of thinking that you might as well be atheist, low key. I'm not gonna lie.
Absolutely not. I do not reject God in any way, shape, or
He
form.
wasn't
Do you
atheist.
even
He
look?
rejected it.
This is
Now we know
credence to
that
accept
Universe
what
is
I
the
literally
intrinsic
Pensive
said.
and ISO
We
have
have the
leanings
convergence of people.
towards ism. I like
But
it.
wait. No, because Dr. Truth asked a really great question, and I don't want to leave this out. Can you actually restate it really quick? Because I want to make sure I respond
What
to
I
it.
said is that the systemic suffering of the evolutionary pathway over millions of years, limited resources, red and tooth and claw and horrors and death and everything else. And how do you, if you believe that the universe is divinely good, how does that square with how does the reality of that systemic suffering, which all had to occur to get to us, how do you make sense of that? Considering you believe that there's axiological mismatch with your belief that the universe is divinely good, if we've got all this suffering that we've got to account for, how would you explain that?
So what's really interesting is I almost lean more towards kind of a Christian way of thinking with this, where suffering is nothing more than a part of life, and a balance of the quote unquote good and bad that we see, right? To something that is not only eternal, but also that would be able to dictate all that's going on. There would be no good or bad, but you could, like, good or bad in the polar sense that we think of it, but you could argue that it could be all good, all progressive towards whatever is necessary for it.
We would argue that suffering and animal death was good.
In that sense, in terms of how we view it, absolutely not. It's terrible. But in terms of a sense of, like, hold on, let's look up. And this is why, Coco, I brought up, why don't we ever talk about good in terms of definition? To be desired or approved of. Every single thing is being, in a sense, approved of or desired in life, right? Or it would not happen.
Tosh,
mhm.
do you think the universe is all good?
Yes, in terms of that definition.
By all good, wait, what was the definition? Sorry.
To be desired or approved of.
To be desired, to be approved of. Why would that entail something's all good?
I mean, approved of in the sense that it is, like, necessary, or it is within, like, the will, quote unquote, of whatever's the universe is, then yes.
The will? Wait, this just sounds like classical theism dressed up, because, like, this
That's
is...
why I say quote unquote.
Wait, so... Okay,
Quote,
so
unquote, will.
your view is classical theism, but instead of classical theism, you just drop that it really is a mind?
Drop that it really is. Wait. You're saying that I think it is a mind?
No, I'm saying that you dropped the classical thinking that the God is a mind, and instead of saying God is a mind, you say the universe has mind-like properties, right?
Kind of. So, um, I don't like. I think that the Bible, and especially like all the scriptures, really personify God a little too much. Um, and
Why,
we
why are you thinking he agrees with classical theism? Is obviously not. If God is the universe and all things are changing. One of the 4 or 5 views of classical theism, besides divine simplicity, passibility, is it doesn't change, immutability. His universe is changing all the time. So I don't
Oh,
really see how
okay.
that
What you
in
just
any
said.
No,
way
No,
like
no,
He
classical
just said he
theism.
doesn't
no.
believe
He
in
actually,
change,
wait.
buddy.
That's an oxymoron.
He
But
rejects
Dr. Truth.
change.
What?
he
Wait.
may
Dr. Truth.
reject
Change.
change,
Dr.
but
Truth.
You,
That's an oxymoron.
he can reject
you
it if
notice
he
how he like
wants.
said
But the
earlier he
reality
rejects
is,
change and affirms B theory of
do
time.
you guys
Yes,
affirm
Which
that?
exactly.
views
That it's
change
not.
as an illusion.
Dr.
Do you
Truth. Dr.
affirm it,
Truth.
Pensive?
Dr.
Is it
Truth. Hold
changing
on.
or no?
Hold on.
ISO, is it changing or not?
Hold on. No, because this is about my
No,
viewpoint,
it's
right? So
not. He
I
said
actually
it
don't
doesn't
think that
change.
change.
No, no,
I
He
no.
just
Well,
said it
we're
doesn't
looking at
change.
your viewpoint is important, but reality is also important. Is the
It's a
universe not
reality,
changing?
we
yes.
think it's changing. We
Of
think
course,
that
it's
it's
changing.
changing. No, but define change?
It's an illusion, you mean?
Yes, in a sense.
Okay, all right. But that's not a classical theist, is what I'm saying. I don't know. Pensive made a leap to get to classical theism. I don't see it.
No, because the way that I like the divinity and or the all good is what he's talking about with classical theism.
Yeah.
But I drop the mind light because I don't like personifying God like that. I think we make God very human, and that's a
Yeah,
huge problem. And
that's another rejection of like classical theism is they don't believe that God is anthropomorphic. They don't believe God is personal.
and you know what's crazy is, and this is what's even scarier to me, and like
Well,
okay,
it's
I'm
interesting
getting
to hear all
chills right now
Tasha's views
talking
now.
about
I mean,
this.
now that I've conceded your point, I understand what you and Irreducible believe. This is really cool.
Oh, wait, I don't
For
believe in this
sharing.
But
shit.
wait.
Wait, what the hell?
One thing that's really interesting. So and this is why like I really do like reading into scripture is because they say that all these scriptures, all of these,
Tosh,
the
can you hear me now?
word, huh? What happened?
Hmm?
Yeah, just go ahead.
All the systemic evil, you just basically said it's not really evil. It's not really suffering. It's just, it is. Is that your answer?
I mean, everything is what it is, but in a sense, like it's more so. It's the way that we view good or bad is to me based more off of survival than it is based off of like um actually like a ultimate morality or yeah, ultimate reality for lack of a better term. Objective morality is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But um in terms of like in a true objective morality of like what I think, you could say that again, everything would be good. Like Christians say, God is good all the time, but that's a whole different thing. That's not in terms of like the morals that we talk about, the morals that we harp on. But I do want to say this because this is really, really, I find this to be very interesting, and especially like the story of Babel and stuff like that. That through these scriptures and through all of like the words and like mincing that we do, all of these things shall be corrupted, right? All these scriptures shall be corrupted, misused, and misleading people of what these scriptures actually are intended to get across for like a better version of life, really.
So, Tasha, you saying that the divine part, the goodness part, the will or the goal directedness of the universe is utilizing the evolutionary pathway, the systemic suffering, the lion that rips apart the antelope. It's not, there's some greater good or something that the universe is using, which is God. Is that how you're sort of saying it's actually good?
Yeah, in a sense. And like and this is what's even weirder is like how I kind of almost believe what like Islam says, that we almost make a pact, because again, I don't necessarily believe that we are we're part of the entirety, right? So we would be in parts are weird, like compartmentalizing this is kind of strange. But like part of God, right? So I think that we know intuitively what we're doing, what we're going through, why we're here. And like
Yeah.
and this is like a big part of like how when people talk about spirituality, like we can look into even, which is one of my favorite books, The Alchemist, how we lose our viewpoint of who we are and what we're here to do because of our earthly connections, attachments, and like that can go into freaking karma or not.
Did you ever look at panentheism, Tosh, at all, or just went straight to pantheism? Where the universe is basically part of God's mind in a sense.
So I do leave a like agnostic viewpoint towards panentheism because I don't think that there is. I personally, just based off of like what I've read, especially like with the Big Bang, looking into like the Big Bounce, looking into just like how physics work and stuff like that, I don't think that there's anything truly outside of it. I think that the energy would still be cycled or cyclical and not be created.
Well, I don't want to get into cosmology too much, but the cyclic systems where you talk about this crunch and the expansion, the problem is that it builds up entropy each time, and that there's a problem with accumulating entropy. But
if only entropy was globally defined.
Did you see Nagasara's book, Tosh, which is The Problem of Evil for Atheism, which says basically that Pensive and ISO have a problem if they're moderately optimistic about the world. It's not too bad. That same evolutionary pathway that you made an attempt to explain, they have very little resources because it's all naturalistic to explain. It's an interesting book. Just came out in 2020.
Yeah, I adopt a view of normative error theory, so this is not an issue for me.
Normative error theory?
The rejection of moral facts. Well, the ontology of the moral facts. They would say moral facts doesn't exist, but it's like different. Some might say
like
the
nihilism,
ontology doesn't
right? Error
exist.
theory and nihilism are very closely related. They're just false subjective values, right?
Yo, I need to know, Pensive, what is your like stance? What is your worldview and stuff?
On what?
Not only like, because you said you're not an atheist. What is your classification?
Yeah, I'm an agnostic.
I'm an agnostic too.
So wait,
No, it's not. Pensive is a panentheist like me.
Yeah, actually, Irreducible and I go to the same university in Pittsburgh, and like we study this formally.
True.
Really cool. It sounds like y'all do.
Isn't error theory just saying that like moral facts are like reducible to like some normative stances or something like that?
Or preferences?
That is not what it's saying.
Yeah.
I would say moral propositions are false because there are no objective values.
Like there's no truth maker.
Well, they're not truth apt and they're false. They're false.
Wait. That's not true. You can adopt cognitivism and be a normative error.
Well, no, I didn't say you can be. Yeah, well, I thought non-cog was like they're neither true nor false. Error theory and nihilism, according to Humer, was then they're just false. These moral statements because there's no objective values.
Yeah, but you can be a
cognitivist. The
anti-realist
theories.
You can still say they're truth apt, but they're just systemically like false. That's what's Mackey's view.
Mm-hmm. That truth apt, but just how does that work?
They're false. Yeah, because truth apt doesn't entail anything about them existing ontologically. They just mean that you can assign values to them, right? And those values can be false, and that's the view.
So the statement, Bobby, that it's legal to torture a small child for fun, they would just say that's false. They might have a personal feeling, but they would say ultimately, objectively, it's just false. There's no objective values. So it leaves you with a lot of counterintuitive statements like the Holocaust is not evil and things like that.
Yeah, but like, I mean, obviously, the negation of the view would also be false.
You do understand that, the error theorists would say that it'll be objectively false. Is that what I heard you say? True.
Error theory and nihilism, my understanding is they would say that there are no objective values, and therefore that moral proposition is false.
Wait. Hold on. So how is that different from like a moral subjectivist?
Thing is that subjectivism, which is observer dependent, depends on you, what you observe or society. And then there's error theory, which is like nihilism. There are no false. There are no objective values, so that statement would be false, a moral proposition. And then non-cog would be it's neither true nor false.
And because To me, I guess it depends on what's your issue with like the non-cog. Wait, isn't error theory like a form of non-cog? Oh, am I wrong?
No.
No.
Okay, then.
So normative error theory is a cognitivist view. It's just that moral or normative sentences, they express beliefs and they are truth-apt, right? The error theory part of that, so that normativeness would accept the cognitivist claim about semantics, but it's ultimately that there are no normative properties or moral properties to make those beliefs true, so such beliefs are all false, right? So under my view, a cognitive error theorist like myself would say when people make moral judgments, they are trying to state their judgments and genuine beliefs about X moral property. These aren't emotions or prescriptions, so I wouldn't fall victim to the embedding problem, right? But because these normative facts do not exist, those truth-apt judgments are systematically false.
Hey, Pensive. So most philosophers are atheists, and then 55%, according to Phil Papers, of philosophers are moral objectivists. They're more realists. Why do you think? Why do you think that that's the case? Something like 27% of anti-realists.
Wait, Dr. Truth, you might be appealing to like ad populum fallacy. Wait, are you trying to imply that like?
No. I'm just asking. I'm not saying one's more likely than the other at all. Not going by majority. I'm just saying that on here on TikTok, anti-realists, basically moral anti-realists, kind of like are the one voice on here. And I'm just wondering why you think, if you could argue from the other side, why people believe in that 55% of the philosophers, most of them are atheists, are moral realists. Just wondering why you think, what convinces them of that?
Well, I can probably
it's because they aren't usually publishing in this field.
Sure. Also, like, Pensive, don't you think that the reason why like a lot of atheists are more realists is because, I mean, if they were to be like, to take your view, wouldn't they have to run into like companions and guilt? I don't even think like a lot of atheists have like sufficient answers to that problem.
Yeah.
Well, Eric Wielenberg is certainly publishing in that area, and he believes in either their brute facts are tied to Platonic virtues. He's definitely a moral realist.
Well, that's also an issue. They believe. Well, yeah. So what seems to me is that they also like adopting views of like Platonism too, like to explain mathematical properties, and it's very easy to so like, if you already have it. More like
cutting out, bro.
You're cutting out.
I think the Wielenberg Platonic virtues thing, if you listen to his talk when he debated Craig in his book and other videos, it's almost woo-woo a little bit. Somehow the Platonic virtues, which have no causal powers, they're abstract, can somehow instantiate, like, let's say ISO and having a moment in with the Hare Krishnas, because we now know he's a pantheist. That he's having a moment that somehow the love comes from the Platonic virtues and instantiates with ISO and whoever in the temple. I don't get it. It's just weird.
I think I mean for me, like, not because I'm not too well read and I haven't formed a proper view yet. But non-cog just seems to make most sense to me because I'm not too sure what's being said when appealing to like these some moral facts. I'm not too sure those things are actually there. I just
real quick. Sorry.
I just don't know that actually there's any truth makers of this any real existence. I think it's just probably gonna be reducible to like I don't know if I don't know if I want to say that. I think you just act in a way that it's practical. That's like fun like normativity, but I'm not too sure that they actually exist. I'm not. I have to like figure out like what type of non-cog view I may hold.
You're sounding like a practical expressivist. You probably should look into that.
I have a question. Has anybody ever read Sick Souls, Healthy Minds, How William James Can Save Their Life in here?
William James.
And Bobby, You mentioned truth maker theory, Bobby. You might want to look into that because it has issues with what's a truth maker for something that doesn't is negative. Negative statements it has trouble with. So you might want to look at that.
Hello.
Well,
But,
that's if you're a correspondence theorist.
Are you guys still addressing the prompt?
Yeah, we
I got to run. Thank you, Coco, for having me up. Tosh,
Sure.
man, I really like your attitude and your demeanor and everything about it. And I appreciate you sharing your story. Pensive and ISO, I'm just really glad to know you're in that same camp now. But peace.
Of course.
Out.
Peace, man. Enjoy the day.
Wait, who's ISO? It's irreversible, right?
I don't know. I'm not
That's
ISO. I
not
don't.
irreducible.
That's
Oh,
not me.
Wait,
That's
Wait,
Clark's
Pensive.
student right there, dude.
Wait, host knows who Clark is?
Everyone knows who Clark is.
That is true.
I don't think that's Clark though. He's not Clark. Clark has
No, that's Clark's student, dude.
No, I'm a student, bro. No, but like Pensive, do you have like what's your like answer to that of like companions and guilt? Because I was like a normative error theorist at first, but I couldn't find an answer.
You
I actually
guys
don't
are still
think-
talking about the prompt, right?
Wait, hold on.
Yeah,
Like, I wanna-
totally. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You were talking about how normative error theory and like the Christian God are like they're entailed. In fact, you
What?
can give it in a biconditional. Oh,
Hmm?
but I actually don't think there is like a sufficient answer to that problem. I can't lie to you. I was gonna
Oh
talk to Eric.
shit.
I was
Hold on, you
gonna
mind if-
talk to Eric about it because I was like, holy shit, this sounds like a defeater for the view.
What's the problem? The companion and guilt.
So basically, it's like saying more if you're like a normative error theorist on like moral reasons, then it also seems that like epistemological reasons, such as like beliefs, reasons for beliefs, are similar in function to that of moral reasons. And if this is true, then it might be the case that epistemological error theory is true. And if this is true, then you have no good reasons in believing in error theory.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that, here, let me address the new guest. What you got for me?
Wait, which one is talking? Who's talking?
Oh, the host. What you
Okay,
got for me?
cool. Honestly, if I gotta be realistic, I would say do it as an insurance plan because I feel like that's how most people in Christianity are kind of doing it. Because like one thing that's very certain about this life that we know that everybody's gonna die, but it would be crazy if like you die and then it turns out like God was actually real. And on top of that, being a Christian doesn't really take away from like who you are as a person, if I gotta be realistic. Because it's like you could still do other things. It's just that like it's just telling you not to do certain dumb stuff. Like for example, having sex before marriage. Like you don't even know if the person is actually the one for you, and you're just like sleeping about, or like lying. Lying is just gonna bring like distrust. Like it's gonna cause people to not really trust you. Even if they forgive you, they're still not gonna trust you. Like the teachings are good, but I would suggest just do it just in case. Like you don't know when your last day might come. So just in case, if God is real, like try to see if you could get to know him. Try to like, okay, basically try to, I wouldn't say do it as like an experiment to, get to, because he did say if you draw near to him, he'll draw near to you. So all of how people love to say, oh, I never experienced God. Me, I could say I experienced something like similar. I wouldn't say I'm not gonna assume it's God, because like one thing I noticed every single time I have those experiences, it always feels like I can't remember the name of those, not coincidences.
Yeah, but also like really quick, let me jump in there. But it sounds like you're arguing for like Pascal's wager, and like just in case like hell exists, you kind of want to like believe in Christianity as an insurance policy. But the reason I kind of have an issue with Pascal's wager is it presents a false dichotomy, right? So like let's say that I believe in Christianity due to Pascal's wager, and like, hey, I don't want to go to hell. Well, I mean, there's several other religions that also have like hell myths, right? Islam, I guess the Greek gods, but it's like Hades, and like there's a few other ones that are in my notes. But hell is like a popular mythos for many different religions. So like, if I chose Christianity, it could be the case that I'm wrong and Islam is right. So I go to Islam hell. or maybe if I chose Islam, it could be the case that Islam is wrong and like I go to Greek hell, or it
True.
could be the case that I go to some kind of like Buddhist like hell or something like that. So
Question. I'm sorry for cutting you off. I just
you're good.
do you, for me personally, the way I would try to address this like issue is to see which religion has like the most contradiction to like its core teachings, you know, because I know there's certain contradiction that would come in certain things, but like if it affects like the core message of that religion, like for example, you know, Jesus dying on the cross as a way to atone for our sins or whatever, right? That right there, like if there's a contradiction to that thing right there, because that right there is like the soul, it's like the heart of the of Christianity. Jesus dying right there, you know, we put our faith in his death and then we move, you know, like as a Christian. But yeah, like I was saying, if there's like a contradiction that like that affects the heart of the religion, I would say it must be false. You know, in my opinion, you know, if there's more, if there is, it has, yeah, if there's more contradiction, that's basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, for me, like, for me, I don't really find the other religions to be as like realistic. But even for like Christianity, like I find contradictions and things that are not accurate that would give me like.
I just don't.
Such as what exactly?
Well, yeah. So ultimately, like all these religions, they seem to be like man-made, or you know, like back in the day, everybody was making a religion. Everybody was trying to describe some kind of God to explain things that they couldn't really understand. So whenever I look at the religious text, like if it was truly like the divine word of God, I would expect to see like things that are beyond their time. But what I do see is like misunderstandings when it comes to like science and like how the world works, which is common, you know, in Greek mythology and Christian theology, and in like Muslim theology. What I do see is like contradictions in the Bible. Or maybe God is just
Can you give me some contradictions for the Bible aspect? Because I want to see if it touches on the.
Maybe Coco, what is like Hinduism? Why is that not? Why is Christianity?
I'm
more
sorry.
convincing? Like, I'm just. This is gonna be very quick. Why is
beautiful swirls you saw years ago when we visited?
Scott?
I recognize
sorry.
you all immediately.
It's come up on city questions, Scott. Go for it.
You were
But no,
glad to
why is Hinduism more
Yes, I
convincing?
did see swirls of
More
magic
Christianity more
everywhere that day.
convincing to you than
My father
Hinduism?
insists it was
I
my
think like
imagination
right now my
that
focus is on like Christianity and trying to see if it's true, but like I probably should look in like I've known for a while I should look into other religions and like Hinduism. I just don't really have that much exposure to like Hinduism.
What?
For me personally,
Well, maybe let me ask another way. What will make? What is it about Christianity right now that currently
ancient magic.
makes it feel more true than any other religion?
Hogwarts itself is a stronghold of ancient
I guess like I don't know,
if
like
see traces
trauma,
of ancient magic, does that
you
mean I
know,
can wield
like,
it too?
the proper training.
I don't know, the fact that I was raised in it.
Not get ahead
And
of ourselves.
it's kind of just like kind of my pick of the litter. Like I just want to study Christianity for now, and then like I do plan on expanding to other religions.
All that
I don't know.
Hogwarts has to offer.
Like maybe I might study like a different religion and think like, oh, this is probably more true than like Christianity.
It must be
I personally would I would advise you go towards each religion with like a criticism kind of mindset to see if like their truth like still holds, you know, and make sure like it doesn't attack like vague things like how many children did I guess Moses have or whatever. Like I don't like those. There's certain contradictions that I've heard that's not like that doesn't attack the heart of the religion. So that's the reason I said I say like if you want to like test each one of these religions, try to see if they contradict themselves in that way, you know.
Yeah, but yeah, so whenever we're talking about like Pascal's wager, like, oh, you know, I'm believing in something because they don't want to go to hell, and you're saying like to test the religions. I mean, okay, I guess like I won't say contradictions because like I'd have to look through my notes, and I'm still like kind of studying the contradictions. I have like a whole like 2 pages of like different contradictions, but I have to go see if they're valid. But I would say that Christianity has like a lot of like scientific inaccuracies, or unsubstantiated events that would make me believe that, hey, this is not really well substantiated or probably isn't real.
Wait, from what exactly? If you like, what examples do you have for the scientific aspect?
Yeah. So, like, I mean, Genesis tries to, like, I know Genesis shouldn't be taken literally, but it does try to comment on the idea that God created the world in 7 days and in a certain order. Literally on day 4, God creates like the sun and I guess the moon. But science shows, and like literally on day 4, it says that God creates like the sun and the moon. And then, like, earlier than that, God had already created the earth. Science shows us that the sun came before the earth, actually, whenever we study like light rays. So,
Question. Wait, I have a question. Because this is like I'm not trying to like I see where you're going with this, and it's not bad. Like I understand you're using logic for this, but when it comes to God, why do you think logic also applies for God? Like what makes you think that he used science to make the earth exactly? Like, do you think? I mean, wait, no. Do you think he used science to make the universe? I guess.
well, I mean, it's not necessarily like science is our way of like kind of observing the universe that
Yeah, that's
exists
that's
around
your
us.
way. Yeah, that's our way of doing things because like
Yeah,
we're limited by science. But like if you're a god, do you think don't you think that like he's like beyond science that he could have used something else
yeah,
apart from science, like the
yeah,
laws of physics and stuff?
yeah, but I also think like if God existed, he would create things in a way which we can like comprehend. If God is like working in ways that like we can't comprehend, then like we could literally throw everything out the window. Like translations, we throw out the window because maybe God is, having some kind of meaning that we just can't really get to given our understanding. If this world is like uncomprehendable, given that God might have some kind of higher understanding, then like what's the point of even like holding to like Genesis, right? Like it might just be that God has some kind of divine way that we just can't understand just by reading Genesis. Like to some extent we have to rely on like our knowledge, and I would assume that God gave us somewhat of an ability to understand him to some extent.
Oh yeah, I agree with you on that aspect. Like God, being able, I mean, allowing us to understand certain things, but not literally everything. You know,
And
it
also
did say,
and also like just really quick, like in Genesis it's writing about the creation of the world. Like if God is infinitely wise, right? And he knows like how he created everything. Like you would think that he would describe it in a way that shows some kind of like advanced like understanding of like the physics and the astronomy that's occurring around us. But it turns out that like it seems as if ancient people were writing this literature and they didn't understand astronomy, and we're later coming to like conclusions that are kind of dispelling some of the things that the Bible says.
I like how you use the word ancient. Ancient people, before books and texts and stuff. Do you think? I wonder how they used to write. Or just even communicate.
do you think? Oh, sorry, my bad. Sorry.
No, no worries, no worries. I've been listening to this for a while, a few days, off and on, and then other rooms too, and try to come up with different conclusions. Whether it be science or different religions. And I'm doing my personal investigations myself too, and I want to share what I've learned so far. This is not an easy road. This journey, because it is a journey for each of us.
Yeah.
I still not understanding it fully, and I may not understand it until to the next. But while I'm here, I definitely want to share it with others. This journey's not easy.
Wait, are you a Christian?
Yes, I'm actually a Christian.
Oh, okay. Because there was something I was gonna. The second you said this journey isn't easy, there was something I was gonna say, but like I kind of forgot.
You
But
can
it's
still
my
say,
bad.
no worries.
I'm sorry. It's just like I kind of forgot.
No,
Just
don't be sorry.
So like
Never
let
be
me jump
sorry.
in.
I'm
Let
one
me
of
jump
those
in really
people.
quick.
Okay.
Yeah. So to answer like one of your questions, like you were saying, like what do I think about the ancient peoples? I guess like one of the reasons I sort of get frustrated with like God is that like Christianity to me doesn't seem any different from any other religion, right? Like during that time, other people were writing about like gods doing a bunch of different stuff, right, to try and explain the natural phenomenon around them. And a lot of times it just showed like people who didn't really like understand how the world worked. They were just saying like a god did it, and like that was their understanding. So like if the Bible's like truly inspired by God, I would expect that like he would give us some kind of understanding that like when we do our best research, we kind of come to like the same conclusions. But like what we're finding is like the evidence that we look at is just kind of disagreeing with like what ancient people said, and it's no different than any other religion, right? Like the Greeks were saying that a god in the chariot dragged the sun through the sky, and that's how like the sun set and the sun rose. And we found out that the earth, like rotates around the sun. Now for like Christianity, they're saying that like God created the sun on like the fourth day, after creating the earth, and that's not at all like what our best research in regards to the timeline says, right? The earth was created like the sun was created way before the earth, and the earth like it was years before the earth was created.
I guess I just don't understand, Coco, like how you're able to say like I think Christianity is more true than like Greek mythology. How do you come to that conclusion?
I think like again, I probably have to like study into other religions, but I think like I don't know. I think like
what makes any put another way, forget Christianity. What makes any religion more true than another religion?
I think that when you start
wait, hold on. So
contradiction.
Like, I think like I don't know. I think like I don't know. I'm putting Christianity on my priority list.
I would say the amount of the amount of contradictions you find in different religion. If one of them have more than the other one would be more true than the other religion. That's just how I see it personally.
So when you say contradiction, what do you mean? You just mean like what there?
Like things that go against like it's the heart of the religion,
I don't want to take out Christianity, especially the text. It's a very peculiar text. It's different than a lot of the other religions. I've studied quite a few of them, and not all of them really to the depth of what they're capable of doing. But Christianity is different. It's almost like a transformation when you start studying Christianity and how you use it, because you look at some of these mega churches and they speak prosperity, but everybody in their church is poor, I don't understand that, and I'm not downing Christians. I don't, because the walk is not easy. But if we were to take out, all the religions aside, even Christianity, how would we know or find God or understand God without any of the text no more?
Well, we don't even know if it exists. Like God's not even like God's in question. Like it's like a factor we don't even know whether he exists or not.
Yeah, I think you could do that. You could try to understand God without any kind of text. I don't think that's an issue. What I don't understand in this conversation though is why one religion is more true than the other. Like bro said contradiction, but I'm not too sure what he means. He said goes against the heart of the religion. When he talks about contradiction, he means whatever goes against the heart of the religion. So
but what does he mean?
I don't know
the heart, like the heart. I believe the heart of Christianity is like Jesus sacrificing himself, and like to basically pay the penalty for our sins and stuff. That's like the core, and everybody in Christianity believes in that in order for them to like change their lives and act accordingly. So like if there's anything said within that book that goes against that right there, then I would say like it's false if it goes against like that specific thing. Like for example, I guess let's say we find out. Let's say
what specific thing.
let's say we find out that Jesus never actually existed and he never actually died or whatever the case may be, then that would be a big contradiction, because that was literally our whole thing as a Christian. Like, we believed in his sacrifice.
Yeah, so I guess give me an example of like other religions that you feel has like this contradiction that goes against the heart of their religion, and why
Honestly,
that makes it untrue.
That one, if I gotta be realistic, here's the thing: I don't know any other religion, at all. Like, I just there was
Okay.
one of. Hold on, give me a second. There was one of them I did disagree with. I can't remember the name, but I do know it involves like a pantheon of different gods, and I always ask myself like, why would I worship different gods or whatever the case may be, when they themselves must have like a origin? Like, why is it that they're limited? I don't think they're actually gods or whatever. It was a weird way of thinking. I don't know how to explain it perfectly, but for me personally, one of the reasons why I'm still in Christianity is because, like, this is one of the faith where it's asking me to this is one of the religion that's asking me to have faith in something. So it already knows that as a human I don't know everything. So the fact that it's humble enough to tell me have faith, like, I'm like, all right, like, it's like, why not? And on top of that, remember, you kind of have to put certain things into practice if you actually want to know if that God is real. There is this thing in the Bible that says if you draw near to him, he'll draw near to you, so like try to see if you could put certain things into practice in Christianity and see if he actually draw near to you.
Well, yeah, that's also kind of one of the issues that I have, right? Like, I personally grew up as like a Catholic for 23 years.
Wait, you were praying to Mary?
I mean, no, like, I was praying to God. I mean, yeah, of course they believe in like divine intercession, but yeah, I was praying to God, and God never like spoke with me to correct my path or tell me like what was the right like Christian denomination to like be a part of. And like, to be honest, like, I didn't really see God reaching out to me in general. And also, like, there's plenty of atheists that are former Christians that prayed to God and even begged for God at times to like reach out. So like, this idea that like if you reach out to God, he'll definitely like speak with you, it's clearly not true for like everybody.
I'm actually I don't mean to interrupt anybody. I'm actually from a little city in Florida called Intercession City. You can look it up or Google it. In this little city of Intercession, there's 7 churches in this city. It's a really small town, and it's like there's no buses into this town, but you can go there. And I've done a lot of study and research there most of my life, and I've always ended up traveling back to that town. It's just kind of weird. I'm an artist, so I'm really fascinating with art and religious art, especially like the Last Supper or Salvador Dali's, versions of Jesus Christ, and even some of the stuff that I'm about to get into, because I'm about to hit this 2-week vacation, and I'm going to start painting the Book of Revelations, and so I've had to study to get motivated and dive into this religion, and it has shown me things that I've never thought I would ever could imagine. Just I can't imagine.
But he got to experience that for himself. Like,
yeah,
you chose to like draw near to God, and I guess you had those experiences and stuff. But he remember, like, the journey is different for everyone, because everybody has different lives and stuff. So he would have to experience that for himself to see if like God is. Like, it can't be something forced, like your parents bringing you to church and stuff. Like, you have to seek. Weapon?
I guess, like, when I ask what makes one religion true than other, you guys don't really know why, though.
Honestly, we don't, because I don't personally. I'm doing everything here by faith. I don't know if it's true, and the fact that, like I said, the fact that my God, the God of Christianity, can say to have faith and not believe because he said so or whatever. Like, I feel like that's enough humility from a person with like immense power. So I would rather go down that route.
There's
Why?
plenty of religions that say have faith. That's like a normal thing.
Oh, for real?
I mean, yeah, like the Islam says have faith. Muhammad said have faith. Like there are plenty of religions that say have faith. Faith is like a
Oh,
common thing.
oh, I didn't know that. That's different. Oh, wow.
Well, you didn't know
really
that
you went about your whole life, not realizing most religions which offer offerings and prayers,
Yeah, like
Yeah, that
every
is.
religion has some kind of faith aspect to it.
some kind
Yeah,
of ritual.
but I kind of had a question for you, host. You said okay, so you said you were raised Catholic, and you try to talk to God. Like, how exactly? Like, I'm more curious about like your experience in Christianity. Like, how was your prayer like exactly? Like, what were you doing as a Catholic? I guess
I mean,
to get closer to God.
like I don't know. I was like getting on my knees and like holding my hands and praying. Like, I mean, like if there's like some kind of specific way to pray to God, I mean, God should have probably like left instructions. But
I mean, there is well,
No,
there's no specific way of prayer because I remember somewhere located in Matthew, like basically prayer is like just a conversation. I don't think you should do it in like a like hypocritical. Like I'm not saying that's what you did, but I'm just saying like most people tend to try to approach him with like a hypocritical religious kind of way. I don't know how to explain it. It's like they try to sound they try to look religious, I guess. So all of like the folding of the hands and stuff, like it's not really necessary for prayer. Like you could just talk to him directly. I was more concerned that since you said you were Catholic, I was like, do you have Mary intercede for you? Like that was where I was kind of like curious, but
I mean, yeah, sometimes like yeah, Catholics pray to Mary.
you specifically, you said you didn't. You just go directly to God, or
I mean, yeah, like sometimes I would pray like the rosary and stuff, but there would be times I would just pray to God directly, and God never really like spoke or gave me like any correction.
that's very interesting.
But like, yeah, like, but ultimately,
Did you try like obeying certain things in the Bible, if you don't mind me asking?
I mean, yeah, like there's plenty of atheists, including myself. Well, I'm an agnostic, but there's plenty of like atheists who like, yeah, we followed the Ten Commandments, we prayed, we gave it all we got, right, and we didn't really get like anything. So I don't know. And, like, there's this idea that God will reach out to those who reach out to Him. Like, I don't really think so. There's plenty of people who don't really get.
Okay, how do you expect him to like reach out to you? Do you think it's gonna be like a grandiose kind of like in your dreams kind of thing? Like how do you expect him to reach back?
Well, I
this
mean,
is
like,
a weird question because you said earlier that one of the reasons you've had the Christian appeal to you is this idea of like he's humble enough for him to like is God is humble enough for him to ask you to believe in him. I guess that rocks your world.
Yeah, it did. It kind of did. It kind of
Where if somebody asks you, are you just saying like when you say that rocked your world, are you just saying that somebody, the mere fact that like if I told you to like, hey, believe in me, man, I got you, would that rock your world?
Not really, because like you haven't shown that you have like more power than some of the most powerful individuals in this world. So like I can't really put my faith in you, like, unless you could like I don't know, command galaxies to be born or whatever. Then maybe, but in the meantime, no.
So when you say you believe in God, then it's not you've already you already have a belief in God to exist. So when you say you have faith in Him, that's just like that's something separate. Because at first I thought like the reason you believe in God is because of faith, right?
Yeah, it's because of faith.
Yeah, but I guess I wasn't confused because when I asked you, hey, if I ask you to believe in me, to have faith in me, you say that, well, I didn't create the universe. Do you just have faith that God created the universe?
Yeah, because we haven't seen any of that.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. Basically, what you're saying is that like there's no I'm believing without any evidence, right? Like that's basically faith. That and you're trying to hello?
Yeah, I guess I just understand why. Yeah, almost basically like that. Just trying to understand when you say if you believe in God for some other independent reason and then you just have faith in Him, or if the reason you do believe in God to exist is just due to faith alone, then it's like
Honestly, like my faith sometimes wavers. There's moments where I believe in him because of certain like what some people would call coincidences. Like I had coincidences happen to me not too long ago, but the fact that they were tailored to my specific situation and it happened over and over kind of indicate to me that there must be something out there that's like influencing my reality somehow. Like for example, not too long ago, I remember when I used to hop on TikTok and I used to try to, like try to influence people to be Christians and stuff. And then there was this one individual I encountered. This person was I couldn't really tell he hated Christians, but like the way he was like, I'm like, oh, okay, I could save this one. I could I could convince him that God exists. And then the dude he was giving me a hard time at that time. So I just gave up, right? And then next thing you know, that same Sunday, I'm listening on the radio and then the pastor is speaking on my specific situation and I'm like, what are the odds that the pastor would be speaking on my specific situation, giving me advice on what not to do? It was kind of weird. And this is not the first time this happened to me. This happened to me several times. So it's like I could have easily brushed it off and said, you know what, it's coincidences, but the fact that it happened back to back is kind of weird.
That could just easily be confirmation bias. Like,
yeah, and also and also really quick, like the human experience is like there's not an original human experience. Like everything's already been like experienced at least like. So like, what are the odds that like he's talking about something that you've probably like been through? I mean, like yeah, like.
But it's not even that he's talking about anything that's interest. Like all you said here is you try to convince somebody. It didn't work out. You left. You went to church, and the pastor talked about when you try to convince people. That's like something most pastors in churches talk about. Like,
yeah, but here's the thing. Like, let me basically what he said is let me see if I could be specific. Okay, I try to convince him that the dude that there's a God and all of these other things and stuff. And then in the radio, the guy said he basically told me to give up. Like he told you, he said, bro, like there's some people who just genuinely don't like Christianity, who doesn't want to, even affiliate themselves with Christianity. They're not even curious about the thing. Don't even try to waste your time with these people. That's basically what he said through the radio. It wasn't about convincing people. It was more like giving up on trying to convince
once again,
people who didn't want. Yeah.
I feel like everything you're talking about is totally standard and normal and expected to hear from many like Christian preachers. Like there's obviously going to be different like ways that they teach or stuff like that, or different lessons that they had on their heart that day or whatever, but like it's still within the purview of a standard like theological sermon or whatever. So I don't think this is concrete evidence to suggest that,
no. I didn't say it was concrete evidence. Because keep in mind, I did say I could have brushed it off as coincidence, like as a coincidence, because we've had that we've had things like this happen before. And like this is like I said, this is not the first time. I also had this one experience where I was talking to somebody on the bus about my sickle cell disease, right? And he kept telling me that I didn't have enough faith to believe that God was gonna heal me, and I was like, bro, God can sometime. What happened?
Yeah, like
just go. Sorry, go on. That threw me off. But go on.
Yeah, like, and when Christians say that, it's a little bit fucked up, right? To walk up to like a sick person and be like, "You didn't have enough faith."
So you think, or not you, but just in general, do you think people use Christianity or the Bible as a weapon?
Yeah, some people on TikTok that I've encountered, like
yes, I agree. I definitely agree.
They do. They do.
But also like I'm sorry you had to go through that. Or that somebody was
Yeah.
What was I did cut you off. What was the coincidence from that experience?
Oh yeah. So basically, what happened was, yeah, I was on the bus listening to like trying to listen to this new Christian music. This dude came up. He was like, "Oh yeah, you listen to Christian music?" I was like, "Yeah," and he was like, "Oh, you're a Christian too?" I was like, "Yeah." And then somehow the thing turned down this other path, where like he starts talking about how God healed him.
Psycho,
what's
you
up?
there?
How y'all doing, man?
We can't hear you,
I've been
Art,
trying to
if
say a
you're
word this
speaking.
whole time. I can't even say nothing.
Do you think maybe we're not understanding or comprehending the text right? Like maybe there's something we're missing.
I just know how you
So
should send the text to
why
be
should I
shut.
believe or trust in God? I could easily answer that question.
What was that?
Sure. Well,
I could easily answer that question.
wait, hold on. Did Art like zone out?
No, he just went back.
Well, he
Oh no.
muted, so
Like I
maybe
just wanted
something
the
came.
rest to finish, but like yeah.
Okay.
But I wanted to say I could easily answer that question though, because it's the easiest contract you ever sign in your life.
I would disagree with that.
Why would you disagree?
I mean, it does come with like a lot of sacrifice. Like people sacrifice a lot to be Christians.
Like what?
Well, I mean, like I grew up knowing priests who like devoted themselves to like being priests, and that meant that they had to be celibate and not get married or have kids or like have sex. And like, if God doesn't exist and somebody went through all of that, that would be pretty kind of sucky, right? Like, there were priests who denied dates in order to be like Christians, and like that kind of fucked up their life. They could have been happy with like potential partners, you know.
Guys, I'm sorry.
Okay, but we have to still understand that the Bible, the Christianity in the Bible, if we're following the story of the Bible, right, and this depiction of the Christian God, then we have to also understand that the history behind this religion and how it has been affected over years and how it's been manipulated over years. So we will have to use the original scripts and the original like passages to like denounce anything or prove anything. I'm not here to prove anything, but I'm also here to prove that you can't like that lack of evidence isn't proof in its own.
Why would the ease of a contract indicate that its author is trustworthy? And furthermore, if the contract is easy, doesn't that mean that it's not the correct contract according to the Bible?
Why is it not the correct contract?
Because the path to salvation isn't supposed to be very wide, I believe.
What do you think the path to salvation is?
Well, my answer to this question has no bearing on that statement being something asserted by Scripture.
The path, it is something by the Scripture. The path to salvation is not wide.
Exactly. So if the contract is very easy, that implies that the path is wide, which presents a contradiction.
What do you mean? Like the path? What do you think the path to salvation is?
Okay, I think I need to log in.
Again, my answer to this question has no bearing on what Scripture says, right? So, like,
so then you can't use the Scriptures to.
I
like,
can
judge.
I can because
No,
we both
can't.
already we both at
What was the premise?
the way to salvation, whatever that is not.
What January is saying is the particulars of the path have no bearing on
there is a path to salvation.
It doesn't matter what the particulars of the path are, just that they must be difficult.
Yeah,
well, they aren't difficult. They're not difficult.
Wait, no, like they are. So right, so hold on. So like there are people who like sacrifice a lot for Christianity. Like I was saying, there are priests.
There are people, sure, but that's already that's a whole like rewashed, rebranded type of religion. We're not talking about.
Wait, so what are you implying?
Catholic. We're not talking about any type of European influence on the historic texts of
okay, so what would be like your version of Christianity?
My version of Christianity is what the Bible depicts it as. Is not what the religion has been formed through time. It's that human beings are capable of like sin, and that's like why we have flesh, and that walking in Christ like would help us weaken that flesh. So not saying that we're totally incapable of sinning. It's just saying that Christ died for our sins. So ultimately in a
so
perfect position if we accept that he died for our sins.
But again,
I wouldn't be able to cite sources, but EO people say that in the Bible it says to trust in the tradition and the church. So even the Bible says that you should trust the church.
Trust in the tradition and the church. Well, the church. What do you think the original church in the Bible is talking about? Do you think it's talking about the church of the people that persecuted Jesus Christ, or the people that actually followed Jesus Christ? What do you think? Because the Bible also says there are false churches. So, like, what do you think that church is actually? The church is.
I don't know of
about this.
any Christian church that persecutes Christ or Christians.
There are churches that do persecute Christ, and there are churches that persecute other people that follow Christ just because they don't follow Christ the way they do. Like that's a fact.
Oh yeah, so like clearly, like the Bible would probably be referring to like the early church, but then the Eastern Orthodox.
The Bible is referring to the actual children of Israelites, the 12 tribes, and like that's what the Bible is actually referring to.
Wait, so like none of the disciples, none of like Peter.
The disciples are part of that tribe. There were members of the tribes of Judah lost in what's it called, in those areas in Europe, in like even when the Christianity got over there, like the people over there. That's why it says its lost children are scattered all over the world in every nation. Like there's always going to be people from those tribes wherever you go, and those lost people sometimes bear the names of these people just because they were lost once. But when Jesus Christ and like all the other disciples went out and were trying to like find people, they were mainly trying to recruit the lost children from the tribes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, so I mean, like Eastern Orthodox are just gonna hold that, like, yeah, the disciples were part of like the early church.
Well, if we're following the Bible, about, that's the church that we're referring to. That's what I'm saying. If we're using the Bible to like describe what we're talking about here, then yes, the tribe, the church is talking about is the lost tribes of Israel.
Yeah. So Eastern Orthodox would hold to that, and then they would believe that, like, oh, you know, like the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, or some of the apostles, right? You know, Jesus left the keys to heaven in the hands of Peter, and he's responsible for the direction of the church. And then over time, traditions are passed down from that early church, basically.
Yeah, but there was also the fall, and like, don't you get where Revelations is? Like,
oh yeah, like I know about Revelations, but we're just talking about like, I mean, like, we're trying to get a grasp on like, I mean, ultimately the conversation is supposed to be about like, is sacrifice required for Christianity? And then we're trying to figure out like, what's the right version of Christianity?
I agree. Sacrifice. Sacrifice is a form of obedience.
Yeah. So like if we grant that, then like I'm basically saying that like, if God isn't real and people spent their lives devoted to a religion, and maybe they like didn't go to a party because they wanted to avoid sin, or maybe they gave up on relationships because they wanted to avoid sin. Some people move cities to go to like certain churches in order to like believe in Christianity. Like a lot of sacrifices are made. If God doesn't exist, then I mean, like if people had known that God didn't exist, they would have lived their lives differently, don't you think?
Okay, let me ask you this question. All the examples you just gave me, right? Not going to parties, but any of those examples you can think of in your head, which of those examples would hurt somebody's life negatively rather than positively?
I think all of them would. Like, if somebody knew that God didn't exist and they decided rather than to go to church and waste time doing that, they could have gone to a party. They could have hung out with like some of their friends that maybe they abandoned for this faith. They could have maybe gotten in that relationship with the cute girl that they met, right? But they denied that in order to follow Jesus or God or whatever, right?
That doesn't completely.
Like all of that stuff, like.
Oko, don't you know that the devil will be your friend if that will take you away from Jesus?
There's no way you can actually believe that just because somebody goes to church, they can't have friends and they can't have a wife. Like there's literally people that do.
Hold on. Wait, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying
is exactly what you're saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I didn't say that like people who go to church are like losers with no friends. Like, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that like sometimes people make sacrifices.
I'll say that.
Well, sometimes people make sacrifices for this religion. And if this religion is not true, then if they had known that, they probably would have lived their lives doing anything else. Like if I find out tomorrow that like God doesn't exist by any means necessary, then like, don't you think everybody would start living their lives a little bit differently, given that this is the only life they have and there's going to be nothing after?
What proof do you have that not going to parties is actually something that can negatively impact your life. But I can give you proof that it won't. That actually it won't. But can you give me proof that
You can't really prove a negative in that fashion.
this is
you can't give
there's Buddhist
Yeah,
monks, right?
I can like definitely show that. Like there are people who struggle with like social anxiety, and don't you think like we as humans are like social creatures? Like missing out on a party or
The love of your life could have been at your party, and that could have been the time that you met her, and that would be a detriment to you.
You're assuming that every single human has social anxiety, and every single human is supposed to live their life.
I never said that.
Okay, then why would that even matter then?
Well, yeah, there are like one or two humans that have social
not
anxiety.
one or two. Okay, yeah, it's still not one or two, but we can't just apply any type of statistic.
Wait, hold on, guys. Wait, stop. I'm not implying a literal one or two. I'm saying at the very least, there's at least one or two people who have anxiety, right?
No, I'm saying that the number is not even that small, and the number is actually quite large to where it's not even a matter of numbers.
Do the situations that you are included from or excluded from impact your life in potentially harmful ways?
Yes and no. Obviously not. Like you can't.
Yes, they can.
Everything
and parties
in life
are one
is
of those
purely
situations that can
circumstantial.
impact your life, and it could be harmful.
If you use your time doing something productive rather than going to a party, there's no way you can actually believe that is going to impact your life negatively.
Hold on,
just
but here's the
because
thing.
you didn't get to socialize with people.
Here's
What?
the thing. If
That's actually the opposite.
Going to a party could be the productive thing.
Yes, it could be, or it couldn't
Here's the thing that
be.
you're missing. If God doesn't exist and you were at church and you denied your friends in a party to go to church, right? If God doesn't exist, then going to church would have literally been a waste of time. Like, why did you go? You could have been living your life doing like literally anything else. Like if
going to church is the criteria that makes it okay.
If I find out tomorrow that God doesn't exist and this is the only life that I have, and like I'm gonna die and there's gonna be nothing left after, why the fuck would I go to church when I could be doing like other things? And especially like people sacrifice things to go to church. People move neighborhoods to go to church. If they had known that God didn't exist, they might have not sacrificed for this religion that doesn't exist.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but Haru, you should call yourself Haru.
Would you be mad at somebody that moved away to go be with their family just because you were their friend and they moved away from you?
I mean, like, I would say that's worth it, but like,
I would say that if anything, that
do you think
measures
it's like-
what kind of friendship you actually had with this person. If
Well,
them
yeah.
believing in something and like dictated the terms of you guys' friendship, like that doesn't really make any sense to me.
I mean,
Yeah, wait,
Shinobi,
hold on.
like,
Whenever you say that, whenever you say someone's moving to go be with their friend, that's implying that their friend exists, that their friend has a connection with them. They're moving to go be with something that's real. If somebody moves to go to a church and they find out that God doesn't exist, like
Your whole
waste of their
argument is from the basis that God doesn't exist, but you don't have any proof that He doesn't exist.
wait, I know. I'll grant you that I don't have any proof, but I'm saying that like
So you can't ask me a question like that if you can't
Wait,
prove that
it's
He
a
doesn't exist. It's the
hypothetical.
same
Wait,
thing. You're asking me to prove that He does
Wait,
at the
no.
same time when you can't prove that He
Wait,
doesn't.
hold on. The proposition on the table is there any sacrifice that's required of Christianity? And like, if it is the case that God doesn't exist, like, what would someone lose from believing in Christianity? And what I'm trying to say is, if somebody goes their entire life and they decide to be a priest and they didn't date that girl that they met in high school and they avoided going to parties and they avoided hanging out with their friends, devoted their life to Christianity, and then they get shot on like 5th Boulevard and find out that on the opposite side of death, there's no God. If they had known that there's no God, they probably would have made different decisions and lived maybe even equal or more or less fulfilling lives.
That ultimately depends on your definition of a fulfilling life. Don't you understand that?
Oh yeah, but you can grant, right? If God doesn't exist and somebody made all these sacrifices for God, I mean, like, they could have.
No,
been
but that
doing
purely
everything.
rests on your definition of a fulfilling life. Don't you understand that? And your definition isn't the ultimate definition of a
answer my
fulfilling
question.
life.
Like,
Do you understand
agree,
that?
Wait, answer my question. You do agree that, like, if God doesn't exist and people made all these sacrifices and denied possible opportunities for God, like,
what
they could have made other choices, right?
Okay, but
Like,
you can't make people's choices for them based
I
on
know
your
that.
opinions.
No shit. I'm asking you if there was a loss by like
You can make
denying
people's
themselves.
choices for them.
Well, obviously, but you're not the person that's asking me that right now. I could tell just from your voice.
I mean, yeah, but like what I'm asking is like there is a loss, right, from like denying themselves of these opportunities and choosing to like devote themselves to a God that they ended up finding out didn't exist in this hypothetical. There's a loss there, right?
Okay, but what if I threw you another hypothetical that was based on if the God does exist? Like, we're both still asking for proof here. Like, don't you see how that's
None of us
perfect?
are
Like,
asking for proof. We're just running hypotheticals. Like I'm not saying I
okay,
can
but we
prove
still
God
can't.
exists. I'm not asking you for proof either. I'm just running a hypothetical.
Okay, but what if I told you that what if God does exist and after, like, what if all the things they did in their life and didn't live a fulfilling life and now they have to face the punishment? Like, what if I just threw that question right back at you?
Yeah,
Coco, I think I'd like to change sides. I think Shinobi is right. That the contract that you sign will be trivially the easiest contract you sign because God doesn't exist. And anything that you infer from that contract is going to be coming from your own mind. So you're basically just going to be doing what you want anyway.
That's basically like the Buddhist like take on it. If you really, but the way you're using me isn't the way like they used me. I'm pretty sure you're using it in like a narcissistic type of way. But sure,
But
go
also,
ahead.
like, wait, he's not on your side. He said that God didn't exist.
I know.
But
I
like,
mean, I think
I'm just saying
if
that that's exactly how the Buddhists think. Like they think the God is like is universe and like we're the like pretty much potential is anything that we can make in our own minds, right? So like even the power
I don't
of
think there's anything about
reincarnation,
Buddhism
even
that
the power
excludes
of
you
like
from believing in a God, but most Buddhists that I've met are atheists.
yeah, but not the type of atheist you think. Like yeah, I've heard
if
that a
I
dozen
might
times.
interject, so
Sure, whatever.
Shinobi, basically your argument is that there's no potential thing that you lose, or there's no suffering that you go through as part of being a follower of Christ. But
Well,
doesn't that directly contradict what some of the most prominent Christian leaders say about the Christian journey? Like for instance, to live is Christ and to die is gain. If I
I
am to
never
go
once said
on
that though.
living, if I hold on, I'm quoting Philippians 1. If I am to go on living in the body, this will mean fruitful labor for me. So here, well, I don't know if Paul actually wrote any of this, but Paul is saying that he has to work really, really hard and go through a lot of tough things as part of his journey. And that's what he means by living as Christ. He does everything. He sacrifices everything. He gives up everything for the sake of Christ. And that's what all Christians are called to do, to deny themselves and to sacrifice and put everything on the line for Christ. And even unaliving is part of that.
That's
So
it's not
now
that's the
you're
journey.
coming
That's the
and
end of the journey, right? That's your you can easily try to like paint it
but
as a picture that we're
I'm
supposed to
talking about
ultimately
the
be.
journey itself and the end of the journey. You're
Look, okay,
saying
look,
that it's the easiest contract ever, therefore it's a good contract. That
check
first of
this
all,
out.
that doesn't make any sense. And second of all, it's
I was
not
just
even an
that
easy
was just
contract.
answering the question. Obviously, it was just to open up the debate. But like honestly, what you're saying doesn't even really like
But
okay.
why is God trustworthy? Because you haven't addressed that.
Why is God trustworthy? Okay, what God are we talking about here? Are we talking about the God you don't believe in or the God that I
well,
believe in, the all powerful God?
that's like a whole different topic. Like this started by you saying it's like believing in Christianity is like one of the easiest contracts that you can partake in. I would say like no. I think being a Christian requires like a lot of sacrifices. People deny like job opportunities, potential relationships, parties, experiences. Some even deny time with their family in order to be Christian.
Damn, Coco, just go to
That's
the party,
solely
man.
depending on
And
your view of
like
life and how you think life is
well, yeah,
meant
like
to be fulfilling.
and I'm saying like if in the end if God does exist, then maybe all of that was worth it. But in the end, if God doesn't exist, then all of that was like literally kind of like wasted time for something that
But
doesn't
if he
really matter.
wasn't, but if he was, it wasn't. So you see, that's just circular. We're still not gonna get anywhere with that.
Well, yeah, it's like it could literally go either way, but like it does like kind of destroy the original claim that like, oh yeah, being a Christian is like easy. It's going to be one of the easiest contracts. Like, no, it's a lifestyle choice.
No, it's
You know,
it's not. It's
people
not.
literally give up so much for it. So like that's not even in question.
What do you
It's not
think
easy.
the lifestyle is? Like that's what I meant by like the whole like priest thing is not really a good example because we're gonna go all the way back to like the freaking European version of Christianity, and we don't need to do all that, right? Like I'm just
Okay,
saying, like,
so what Christian?
walking in Christ
Okay,
doesn't
so
necessarily mean going to church and being a priest or being a Catholic priest. That's not what walking in Christ actually means.
I mean, how do you know that? They would disagree
Because the
with
Bible
you.
says it. The Bible says in Matthew
Okay,
26.
the Bible says a whole lot of things. God
The
didn't do a
Bible
good
says
job
in
of.
Matthew 26:14 that even though like we can try our best to be as like holy and Christ-like, we're still made up of flesh and we still have flesh. So that's just awareness that we can.
What does that have to do with like what we're talking about, right? Like the Bible says a whole lot of things. God wasn't very clear. That's why we have like thousands of different denominations, right?
No, that's why I don't go off of just the regular descriptions. I go off the
But like,
actual.
you can't deny, right, that Christianity as a practice has negative consequences, not just from the things that you give up to be Christian, but just even on your psyche itself. Like, why do you think entire countries are banning the threat of hell as a thing?
Because they don't
it's
fully understand.
psychologically
Because they don't. Because they're taking hell too literally.
because it's psychologically damaging, and the only recourse to this is the presupposition that God is actually real and makes all of this sacrifice and pain and suffering that you willingly subject yourself to worth it.
That's
But then
because
if he's not real, then you're just suffering for no reason.
Okay,
well,
like,
you see,
that's great and all, but like, okay, pick your denomination of Christianity, and like, I can literally tell you potential sacrifices people could be making.
my
But, like, regardless of,
denomination is Christianity. Okay, my denomination is Christianity. So you're trying to tell me what does it mean to be a Christian, pretty much?
Well, like, I mean, you're saying like the Catholics are wrong. So like, what Christianity do you subscribe to? And then we can have.
I'm not saying anyone is wrong. I'm just saying like you can't say somebody else's belief is wrong. That's basically what I was trying to say. But
wait, if you're saying none of them are wrong,
if you want to go off my version of Christianity, right? Sure. It basically is like just being Christ-like and just like the journey to it. Like he admits, like Jesus Christ literally says that we have flesh, like we're all capable of sin, right? But like when we ask him for forgiveness, that we're cleaning ourselves and it's pretty much just a journey. And like after we die, if we make it there, like and we've like pretty much proven our like faith in Jesus Christ, like we've acknowledged that we're always going to be sinners, and we've accepted that Jesus died for our sins, then we can ultimately live in Christ. And that's pretty much
like regardless of that, you don't think that requires like sacrifice? You don't think like people are going to be like, hey, I'm not going to go to that college party with beers because like I want to be a holy Christian and be Christ-like?
That's a decision you can make, but that doesn't necessarily mean if you go to that party you have sinned already. Like no.
I mean, like isn't there passages?
If you make that decision, that's just an awareness of your own weakness and like not your ability to not sin around all that temptation.
Yeah, I mean, there's passages in the Bible that say like always be sober-minded. You're not allowed to get drunk or high.
There's also passages in the Bible that says every sin is like equal in the eyes of God. So you can't say that just because someone is going to drink is going to be less of a sin than someone that just a pastor that literally lies.
I never said that. Like what I'm saying is that like people sacrifice like social opportunities, like all sorts of different opportunities in order to like believe in God. And like, yeah, like somebody might be like, I'm not going to go to that party because I want to be sober-minded. The Bible talks about being sober-minded.
That's because of their own misunderstanding of the Bible. Like the Bible doesn't necessarily, just because they're going to the party and not going to drink, like if they're trying not to drink, if they're trying not to sin, that in itself is like a sign of righteousness, because like drinking in itself is not a good act. Like you can't tell me drinking is a good thing to do.
Okay, like, yeah, that's
yes, there are some health benefits, but like obviously drinking is
I'll feel sorry for you when you die of 3 days. In 3 days.
You can't make a reason. You can't be like, oh, this person that's trying not to drink is doing a bad thing. Like, when is that ever a bad thing to choose not to drink? Like, let's not be hypocrites here.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that, like, the Bible has certain prescriptions. Given these prescriptions, people are going to deny certain, like, life opportunities.
Yes, certain vices. Like, is that what you're talking about? Vices? No, people are going to deny vices because of the Bible.
Life opportunities. There's plenty of things the Bible says that could lead to somebody denying.
Is that what you're basically calling life opportunities, vices?
No, like I clearly said no. I'm not only talking about vices. I've already given previous examples of people like literally moving cities to go to certain parishes, right?
If it's not a vice, then it's not really a sin. So why would somebody not try to keep themselves holy by preventing themselves from doing something that's not even a sin?
Wait, are you hearing what I'm saying? Like people make sacrifices for Christianity. People will move cities to go to a certain parish in order to like be Christians, right?
So what's wrong with that?
Well, because if in the end God doesn't exist, and these people had that knowledge prior, don't you think that they would make different decisions? Why would they waste
Okay,
their
but
time?
don't you understand that people are entitled to their own decisions, and they're
No shit.
are you trying to make people's decisions for them? So you're trying to tell me that your relationship with somebody is supposed to matter more than their relationship to something else?
I'm not trying to make decisions.
All Coco is saying is that if someone had had a different worldview, then it could potentially impact how they make their decisions, and that could result in different.
No.
I could say if I had a smaller dick, my girlfriend probably wouldn't like me and have a different boyfriend. That doesn't change the fact that like that has nothing to do with the situation at hand.
You're missing the point.
Oh, you're not married to a girlfriend and she likes your dick?
That doesn't matter. That whole question is a hypothetical.
No, dude, you're missing the point. The whole thing I'm arguing, right, is that there is sacrifices. People make lifestyle changes. People, because of scripture, will deny certain things, right?
Okay, but there's still life choices. They're still making choices.
Unfortunately, Coco, like there's no real way to examine like any actual like benefit or gain from this, because the thing about these counterfactuals is they didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. And it's still based on somebody else's choice. Like you can't make a choice for somebody else.
Dude, like I'm not making choices for other people. What I'm saying
but
is
the
that
level
if people had like better knowledge, right, it could be the case that they would have made like different decisions. And like you're saying like Christianity is super easy. Like no the fuck it's not. Like what about Christianity is easy? Like even Jesus literally said, if you want to go to heaven, you have to be like me and pick up your cross.
Mary was easy.
Well, guess what? There's certain people that wouldn't move to a certain city based on like the kind of love they have for a certain. Okay. So do you understand that if somebody else moves to a different city just because of religion, that means like, okay, they're leaving something behind that they don't love as much as they love something else.
That's not necessarily the case.
Yes, it is. Why do you think it's not the case?
Yeah, because do you remember the passage in the Bible where God said like in order to like be
we're talking about people here. We're not talking about passages.
Yeah. Like I'm giving you a passage that might influence people to act a certain way. There might be like there are passages in the Bible where God says, in order to be one of my disciples, you must hate your family.
That's not okay. You see, that's not.
He's not talking about.
I know exactly what Bible passage you're talking about, and you know what I'm going to say, right?
I know. He's not talking in a literal sense. You have to hate your family. He's saying that you have to love him so much that when you compare that love to the love that you have for your family, that like it is as if you hate your family.
That's not what he's saying at all. You see, like the translation for that word is sine and senute. Like in English, it's the closest thing you can use is hate, but it actually means love less. If it actually meant hate, it would be senute, which means the hated.
Hey, dude, listen, no shit. I granted you that. I said that like they have to love their family less than they love God. So
that doesn't mean they have to. It doesn't mean assign any type of hate to it. The hate is just an emotional.
I said that to you. I said I granted you that. No shit. Well, like we already got there. We got to that conclusion. That's what I was literally saying, right? And don't you think that given that verse, like people might like go to a certain parish and move away from their family to put God first? You don't think that's a realistic situation that happens?
Based on that situation, you think people move to other parts of?
So Jesus was just being hyperbolic.
Yeah, typically when people like
yes, he was being hyperbolic, and I can explain to you why he was being hyperbolic. That in itself.
Wait, no, we don't need the explanation. We get it, right? Like what we're trying to get to is that people do make sacrifices, move towns to different parishes because.
But this is what I'm trying to tell you. I know you get that, and I do get that. I do get that, but you don't get what I'm saying. I'm saying that itself is not a sin, right? Jesus didn't say that.
Nobody here said it was
not
a sin.
Loving
We're
me.
just talking about sacrifice.
Okay, get this. So since it's not a sin, why do you think it was a factor that made them move? Why do you think just not loving their environment they were in was mainly part of the?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Crazy straw man.
That's not what I'm saying.
Crazy straw man. Nobody talked about sin.
About what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, like, when it comes to Christianity, when it comes to people's love for God, when it even comes to the Bible, given some of its instructions, it implies that there might be some sacrifices you need to take, right? And in real life, people do take sacrifices in the name of this religion. And in a hypothetical, if it's the case that God doesn't exist, and these people made all of these sacrifices, don't you think that if they had known better, they would have made different decisions? Like, your original claim was that, like, being a Christian is going to be the easiest contract you sign. Like, no, the fucking fuck, it's not.
Okay,
Right?
this is what I'm telling you. This is what I'm telling you, right?
People sign the
Because you're still
contract.
not getting what I'm
Wait,
saying. You're still not understanding what I'm saying.
People sign the contract when they live difficult lives. They make certain sacrifices. Like, what about this is not making sense? Why do I have to explain myself, like, over and over again?
Dude, this is what you don't understand.
Wait, nigga, what do you mean? What am I talking about? Like, I'm talking about.
Bro, you're talking
people...
about sacrifices here, right? You're talking about sacrifices here, right?
No,
you're talking about the sacrifices people make, right?
Didn't you earlier just say,
and you're claiming that, and you're claiming that just because somebody moves.
Do you think I'm talking about, like,
okay, but to hold, but to hold where, but to stand where you're standing right now, you have to believe in your heart that, okay, these people are actually moving away to a different city, because away from the people they love, just to follow a God that they don't even love as much as they love the other people.
No.
Okay, then how does that make any sense?
Just because they love God,
how does that make any
not a
sense?
sacrifice.
Linda, listen. I'm saying that when you believe in Christianity, sometimes that might entail sacrifices. People might move away from the people that they love to go to a certain parish to be Christian. But if they had known that God didn't exist, maybe they wouldn't have done that. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, but still, that doesn't make any sense because you don't know he doesn't exist. So why was that?
No
like,
shit.
the whole
I granted you that like 13 minutes ago in the conversation. No fucking shit. None of us know whether he exists or not. Like, the thing we're focused on is whether you have to sacrifice to be a Christian. Why are you like 13 steps behind?
And why is it not the easiest contract you would ever sign? What contract is easier than
you have to make sacrifices for it. That's the whole point of this
tell
conversation.
me another contract you can sign that'll be easier than that.
One that unconditionally grants me $10 million and I don't have to do anything. Like, we can easily envision like so many different examples of an easier contract. But like, going a step further,
bring me the next guest. Hopefully someone who can find the track.
The signing a contract, usually you sign a contract that you understand what you're signing up for.
Jesus. Also, I apologize to everybody in the room for using the N-word, but like, I don't know, I feel like I can use it. But if it offends anybody, let me know. I will change my terminology.
I'm not sure you're black enough to say it, Coco.
Fucking hell, bro. Like, somebody give me the next opponent. Like, I don't know, it's hard to track, right? Like in the Bible, there are passages that say, like, love God above everything else. You know, Jesus makes, like, allegories that say, like, hey, in order to be one of my disciples, you must pick up and carry your cross, right? These things imply that there's sacrifices when it comes to, like, being a Christian. And there are real-life situations, right, where people have to, like, make sacrifices for this religion. Now, if God doesn't exist, right, and that's a hypothetical, I'm not saying that he does, I'm not saying I can prove that to anybody. If God doesn't exist, and maybe these people had this information prior, maybe they would have made different decisions. And if they devoted all this time to a religion that isn't true, then maybe it was kind of like a waste of time on their part, right? They could have been doing anything else. And like, that's really all I'm trying to say. People move parishes. I grew up a Catholic. People chose to be Catholic priests and didn't go on that date with the girl that they liked in order to, like, devote themselves to God. Some people denied job opportunities because they thought God was speaking to them and they were getting some kind of, like, miracle, right? And they decided to do something different with their lives. People sacrifice job opportunities, girlfriends, parties, experiences, time with their family to give to this religion. All I'm saying is, like, if this doesn't exist at the end of the day, if we all die, it's lights out, then, like, maybe these people could have lived their lives differently. Like, I don't know how that's, like, hard to track. Like, it's very fucking simple. Like I don't know what the fuck.
Like, the argument is bad on two levels, I think, because like on the first level, like before we even get our foot in the door, it's incorrect that it's easy, because like for everything you basically went over. And then on the second level, even if it was easy, even if we granted that somehow, it doesn't follow that the entity in question is trustworthy just because he gave an easy agreement. It doesn't
Yeah,
follow
yeah,
at all.
yeah. That would be like a different point. Like I don't see any reason to trust the Christian God or whatever. He seems like a shady lad. Oh, and then Sage, to address your comment, yeah, there was like one day, I think on Monday or Tuesday, I was supposed to go live, but I was like tired AF, and like, so I was like, hey, I'm taking a break, but like, if anyone wants me to go live, I'll go live. And then I ended up just joining another panel and like, cooking Slim and like all the other Christians on the panel. No, I'm kidding. I didn't do that. But, but yeah. But
I didn't know Slim was made out of top ramen.
Yeah, love ramen. Ramen is like peak food for like broke people, but also like it's super unhealthy. And like, yeah.
Also, it's the only thing you know how to cook.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, not necessarily. Like I can fry eggs. Like I could make rice, and then I've done pasta. What else do I cook? To be honest, I don't really.
Ramen is pasta, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, ramen's like Dollar General pasta. We're talking about like pasta that you get like from like fancy pasta, not like dollar pasta, But honestly, to be honest, I do eat out a lot. Like I eat out so much. Like
That's what the girls in your neighborhood say, at least.
yeah. If I had Post Malone money, I'd probably do what he does. There was rumors that he just always orders like Grubhub, and like he would just always get food delivered to his house. I'd probably just deliver my meal.
If you got that much money, why not just hire like a personal chef and shopper?
On God,
to get a better experience.
Yeah, you could even do that, and then you could learn how to cook yourself. Yeah, so I'd probably do that. Actually, like. Okay, that's smart, but like I probably would have not figured it out. I like just ordered out all the time. But I don't know. Like I hope. Well, okay. Like no, I don't think I was mean to that guy. I think that guy wasn't tracking. Like, but I don't know. Okay. I'll try to be like.
Well, you did call him the N-word like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I think. Okay, that's gonna haunt me for like. Okay. Jesus. I'm gonna be more patient. But yeah, but it's not hard. I sat there for like an hour trying to explain it to him, and he kept like moving the goalpost somewhere else. I'm like, oh, I don't know how to help you, bro. I don't know what to do at this point.
But just because something would have impacted you to make different decisions doesn't entail that the results of those decisions are more beneficial. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that is true. Was that what you were trying to correct me on earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Oh my God.
Just that the results would be different.
Yeah, so like we were not sure, and it varies by person whether it's more beneficial or not. But yeah, that's really it. I think like being a Christian is not easy. Some people, that's kind of why they're not Christian. They don't want to make that sacrifice. They don't want to devote their lives to something that's false. That actually okay, whenever I tell people that like leaving Christianity was like mad traumatizing, it's kind of like a midlife crisis sort of. Like whenever I was Christian for like 21 years, I debated atheists at a pizza shop. And whenever I started to realize that maybe this thing that I thought was not true, this thing that I thought was true might not be true, it's kind of like my
Do you remember what in particular started you to doubt?
Yeah, so like they basically would talk about how like God was described as like loving and like all of these things, but here are some examples of like how he's not those things. And I started to like doubt that God was actually like loving and stuff. Like if God was loving, then why do we have like they basically ran the problem of evil. And they also just pulled stuff up in the Bible. Like, yeah, God over here massacring children. God over here flooding the world to get rid of evil. And then, like, he's all...
You didn't have your theodicy prepared, Coco?
My theodicy?
Yeah, that's resolutions to the problem of evil. Theodicies.
Oh no, I was like a baby Christian. I was like a Christian fresh out of like high school. And yeah, like I didn't have answers for all those things. And then, like they gave me like Bible contradictions. They gave me like the problem of evil, divine hiddenness. They told me about priests that were graping people in the Catholic Church. And then like I took that and went to investigate further. And like what I ended up finding is like what I ended up finding was that like yeah, like everyone's confused. Like I took what they told me. I went to college, and I started finding out that there's all these different denominations. I started finding out that like Christians don't really read their Bibles. I started finding out that people are hypocrites, and then like this idea that like I don't know, like this idea that like we should trust the church fathers, like Wit says, like it seems like fucking stupid to me, right? Like we should trust the traditions written by these men who aren't God. Like what?
I think Eastern Orthodoxy is silly because like if you wanted to go more Orthodox, you would just go with the Jews.
Yeah, or like it's just like this whole idea that like we should follow the church fathers. They know what they're talking about. How the legitimate fuck do we know that they know what they're talking about? Like these people claim to have like
because God came upon them at their committee at Pentecost, and when they all agreed that these were the right things that to teach, that was God.
Yeah.
It wasn't just that they came to an agreement.
Man, I'm gonna jump
It was
out.
God.
Oh,
That's why.
My bad. Did you want to ask a question? Sorry, I'm Ghost.
Oh no, man, you're good. I was just listening in. I saw you chitting. I saw you talking. I was like, yeah, I'll join in.
Oh.
Not a big thing. I'm an atheist, man. I'm all on board with atheism. So love your stuff.
It takes
man.
more faith to be an atheist than it does to be a Christian.
God damn.
I don't know about that.
But no, like,
But yeah, man. You guys have a great one. I'll catch you at some other time. My wife's calling me and I got to get home. So have a good one.
Oh yeah, you too. Yeah, come back anytime. But I don't know, like I don't know. I'm not gonna get into it, but like
So the divine hiddenness was always a big problem for me because I did all the things that I was supposed to do and I never felt anything. But the real kicker was like when I started learning about epistemic tools for examining your beliefs.
Yeah.
That killed it for me.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, same for me. Like so atheists gave me all these points. I went into college and yeah, I found like the different denominations, none of it was making sense. Nobody seemed like they actually had contact with God. And then like all these things that people were calling miracles, right? They're no different from like coincidences or, something that could be explained by naturalism. There's no like symmetry breaker. It literally could be 50-50. It could be either. And like there was no like clear indication that like God was actually doing stuff in people's lives. It literally just seemed as if Christians believed in God, then took part in like this post hoc rationalization and said like this must be God. And like I don't know, like I made a video earlier this week and I said I wouldn't talk about my enemies and like I'm trying to be a better person. That's like my New Year's resolution. But I just gotta say like when I was like friends with Wit, the Eastern Orthodox, and I was actually being nice, I was like, oh yeah, like she's super.
I'm kind of friends with Wit.
Oh yeah. Like I would say like, oh, she's super smart, and like, oh yeah, like she knows a lot of stuff, and yeah, she's well read. But actually, some of the stuff that comes out of her mouth is actually like fucking stupid as hell, right? Because like the only reason that she's Eastern Orthodox is because like she felt something after going to a homily and she read about the church fathers and like, oh, they might have a connection to God, but we don't fucking know that. These church fathers are just people who are like part of a cult, and like the closest thing is like maybe people walked with Jesus, but we don't even know if Jesus was divine. So like this whole like adhere to the church fathers thing doesn't make sense to me, and they're just people like us. We don't even know if they talk to God. And they're basically like at the head of the church determining like what traditions we should hold to. Why the fuck should we trust these people at the head of the church telling us like what traditions to hold to? We don't even know if they speak to God. We don't know what authority do they have. So like it's really just fucking stupid. It's like no, like sorry, I cut out. But no, your reasons are actually like fucking dumb. Like they're literally just as dumb as somebody who says like I think God exists because like I felt his spirit. And it's like, what the fuck does that mean to me? People literally feel like Islam is true. People feel like Buddhism is true. Just because you feel that it's true doesn't mean anything. It could be a slight indication. But like, what are we doing? Like, what's this data? It doesn't mean anything to me. Like, her literal conversion story is like sensationalism, which is the worst type of it's the worst reason to be a Christian, because you feel like it's true. And the whole time I'm looking at her like, she's smart. And I'm like, no, it's been dumb shit. But yeah, like there's no symmetry breaker between like miracles. It could be naturalism, it could be miracles. A bunch of people are claiming to have the answers. They believe that like
have you read of Miracles by Hume?
I've heard of it, but I never looked into it.
You can find it on Wikipedia. It's only like one page. That's the symmetry breaker for miracles.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Oh, well, if it's one page, I can look at it right now.
I'll give you a quick synopsis. It's that if we define miracles as God changing the nature of reality to benefit a person, which would be the most unlikely explanation, if we use Bayesian reasoning, then we could never assume that that any situation happening would be a miracle. A naturalistic hypothesis would always be more likely.
Yeah.
And if it's more likely, and we accept the more likely reason, a miracle can never be evidence for the supernatural.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, Bayesian. I've actually like looked into like Bayesian probability. The way it's calculated is really weird. But I guess like I'm not sure about the accuracy of it, but like yeah, like the way it's. I mean, you could use it to. It's weird because I was gonna use Bayesian probability for like a problem of evil thing I was running against Brody. And like if you did the calculations, then it would give you like a 99.9 percentile that like gratuitous evils exist. And it's weird. It like Bayesian probability like shoots out these really high like percentages, and I'm like, I'm not sure how accurate this is. In order for you to get like a low percentage, you'd have to have an extremely low variable in the equation. But I don't know.
Sage, you know, Bayesian probability says that if there's like a 25% chance the Christian God exists, then there's like, it's more than likely then a resurrection occurred.
Yeah. So like, yeah, there's that, right? Like,
if there's a 25% chance that the Christian God exists, then that entails that a resurrection occurred.
It's more than likely that it did, yeah.
Yeah. So like, yeah, there's the thing, like, you know, like you give it like sort of small like variables, and it generates these big ass like final probabilities, and it's kind of like weird to me, but I don't know. And also like I do need to see like what numbers you plugged into the equation to get that like
you know, it doesn't even matter to me if the resurrection happened. Proof, right?
Yeah, you're just gonna stop the bullshit objection.
Yeah. Wait, if you found out tomorrow that Jesus rose from the dead, what would you think, Sage?
Yeah, let's assume that a God exists. When we assume that a God exists, what about that God existing entails that he will resurrect a person named Jesus?
That's why you have to stipulate it's the Christian God that has a desire to resurrect someone like Jesus. That's why I said the Christian God. If there's a 25% chance the Christian God exists. Now, if there's a 24% chance any God exists, yeah, it wouldn't probably get you to where it would be more than likely that a resurrection happened.
But yeah, so I guess, you know, to summarize, ultimately, I don't believe in the Christian God, and to summarize, ultimately, given my journey from like the end of high school to like right now, I don't believe in the Christian God because of like problem of evil, divine hiddenness. There's not really a symmetry breaker between naturalism and like miracles. There's a lot of unsubstantiated events in the Bible. Like I'm not even sure half of the shit in there actually happened, from like the Exodus from Egypt to like any of the miracles that Jesus did, besides like the resurrection, which I'm currently like looking through. Contradictions. I say that there's contradictions in the Bible, but I'm gonna be honest. I need to really like
easily solved by saying that the Bible is
inerrant or
multivocal.
Yeah, like I do need to look over like Bible contradictions. I say that there are, and I have notes on it, but I need to verify these contradictions. Some of them are like bad, like they're not contradictions. I took notes off of this video on YouTube. But yeah, I do need to go over the contradictions. People keep asking me like name one contradiction, and like I don't name any. I just switch the topic, but like I probably should stop doing that. But yeah. But I have a whole 3 pages of like Bible contradictions. I just need to verify them.
You have to remember that each book of the Bible is a different person. Well, most of them are different authors writing to different people about their needs and their desires that have to do with God.
Yeah.
So like they're all going to say different things.
Yeah, we would expect there to be like inconsistencies between them.
Yeah.
Now, if there's a contradiction in the same book, that'd be kind of funny. But you know,
I need to get my debate skills up. I'm a very good debate host. Well, actually, no, I could be a better debate host, to be honest with you. But yeah, I need to debate more. Okay, there is this debate that I'm gonna take. Wi-Fi Gospel debated.
When you try to do rhetoric, Coco, it comes off as like being fake.
Wait, it does?
No offense, Matt.
My rhetoric?
It's like you're trying too hard.
Oh darn!
Because you're generally a nice person, and then you try to come really hard, and it just seems like silly.
Oh, okay.
To me, at least.
Okay, I get what you're saying. So I have to. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, because like, okay. Typically I'm nice, laid back, and then like whenever I start like getting into rhetoric, it seems as if like I'm overperforming or explosive, is what you're saying. Yeah.
Overcorrecting.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So it's kind of like it needs to be like a mellowed out, like cool rhetoric. But yeah. The other day, Wi-Fi Gospel debated unquestionable Calvin on like Christian ethics versus like secular ethics, and I think like what I'm gonna do is ask Wi-Fi Gospel to run it back, but as a 2v2, and me and Tutski might want to like 2v2 him, and like yeah, I'd probably take it, because there were some people in the audience that were like, hey, some of these statistics don't really add up, and like. They were having like some issues with like his argumentation, but Wi-Fi Gospel is my dude though. Don't get me wrong. Like I will never disrespect Wi-Fi Gospel for a day in my life. That is my guy.
So who do you think won the debate?
What if I'm not showing up?
I'm gonna stay silent on this one, but yeah,
I didn't even watch it, but yeah, I saw.
But I guess there was a little bit of miscommunication, but not really, because like in the group chat, it was said like, hey, this was supposed to be more conversational, and like Wi-Fi Gospel agreed to that, but then like it was sort of like a conversation debate mix, and I don't know, it was like a bit like different. But. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings by saying who I thought won, and I'm friends with both individuals, but like I don't know. I don't really know how I should go about it.
Code, do you know the common objections to the resurrection?
I think whatever it is, it's probably stuff that we've done before.
It's just like, you know, like what Sage was saying with the Hume stuff, like any natural explanation is going to be more probable than a supernatural one. That's an objection. Another objection is the stalking horse objection. You could just say aliens did it and God didn't do it.
Yeah.
You just grant the resurrection and say aliens did it. That's about it, actually.
I mean, you don't even have to go that far. You can say something we don't understand happened.
Those are the two objections I would say to the resurrection. Outside of that, I mean, you could come up with the hallucination hypothesis, but I think that doesn't work. So I think those are, well, you could say that. You could just say like that ties into any natural explanation is more probable, even if it's extremely absurd. But yeah. But I think that can be solved with updating your priors, and that's a more complicated thing. So I'm looking into that more, but yeah.
Yeah.
How to update someone's priors, right, PRK?
How to update your priors?
How to update someone else's priors.
I can rearrange someone's priors.
I don't know what you mean by that.
You kidnap them and brainwash them.
On God, fire. But yeah, it'd be what it be. It'd be what it be. Oh yeah, I've heard all those objections, and then yeah, I tend to not really believe in miracles, given like priors. Like we've been able to dispel a lot by studying science, and yeah, like we might not understand why something happens right now, but like later, given time, we might be able to figure it out. And yeah, I'd probably make the same. Yeah, you can make that objection for Jesus. We might not know what happens, but maybe given time, we might figure something out. That's typically what happens with like some supernatural claims. But yeah,
basically, it's gonna be like some fantastical thing happened. Someone says the reason it happened is because it was a miracle, and God did it. But I don't see any reason other than that person stating that it was a miracle and God did it to think that it was a miracle.
Yeah.
Well, you could just do a worldview comparison and say, well, this miracle is just more expected under the hypothesis that a God exists over the hypothesis that naturalism is true.
Yeah.
Say that again?
You could just say it's more expected under the hypothesis that God exists that a miracle would happen, right?
Sure, but like what I'm looking for is reasons to believe that this thing that happened is a miracle.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah. But
to me, it's just a fantastical, unexplained event.
Yeah, I guess that gets into that's another thing I have to look into. Supernatural and natural distinction or something.
Yeah. Oh shit. But damn, I always get low views on the weekdays. And then like, whenever I host an event, I get like the high views. Gotta amp it up. But AR is doing very well. Like AR is fucking killing the game. He had like 83 people in his live today.
He usually has a lot of people. There's just like 50 people. Usually they're just chilling out for no reason, listening to a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah. Also, like, there's a lot of content creators to compete with. Like Deconstruction Justin is always gonna like soak up a majority of like the religious content.
Do you know Smurfianity?
Say it again.
Smurfianity or me?
Oh yeah, I know. He hosts panels, right?
Yeah, I was in his live the other night and it was terrible. But there was like 2.4K people there.
Oh, but like the arguments were really bad?
Yes.
Oh, so how is he polling? How is he polling like that many people and they're not arguing about like stuff that's like significant?
I know he oftentimes goes around and promotes himself on other people's lives.
But to get 2.4K, you just got lucky. I mean, the algorithm must have pumped his video in.
Yeah, like 2.4K, but like people are making like shit arguments. Well, at least on the theist side. Maybe the atheists are like killing them, but like
no, on both sides.
On both sides,
they were terrible.
Okay,
well, that just is a testament to how like ignorant this whole platform is usually. But
yeah, okay, and also like be so for real. Like out of like okay. So actually, like, I want you guys to be honest. When you hear like my arguments, when you hear like every single debate on like panels or like by myself, every single thing I've ever said, is my arguments against Christianity that bad compared to like what we have to offer?
I don't think I've ever heard you argue against Christianity, other than with, like Reddit reasons.
Evil, bro. What are you talking?
Oh, other
about?
than Reddit. Well, okay, yeah, I can be Reddit. Yeah, I can grant that. But no, like literally, there
The
are times.
POE doesn't indicate that God doesn't exist, though.
Yeah, that's true.
It depends how you run it. If you're trying to like Ian will run it where like he comes to like some kind of contradiction, and contradictions can exist, and therefore he says like God doesn't exist given this contradiction.
Yeah, but see, it's kind of slimy because if we were to go to like actual like professionals in philosophy, I really doubt that they would take Ian's objections that seriously. But again, I haven't looked into the LPOE much, so I'm not going to say too much there. But just from what I've understood, it's like almost a defunct like model in philosophy. So I don't know what he's doing.
As a theist, I could just like say that some part of your understanding of God or the evidence that you're appealing to is inaccurate.
Like you can just refute like the God that someone's
for me, like maybe what's evil to God isn't what's evil to humans. You know, like
I mean,
maybe some part of your understanding of what evil is doesn't match.
I mean, there'd probably be like some hard bullets to bite. But I don't know. But if anyone in the audience is wondering like where my attention is, I am playing Fortnite at the moment. I think I'm about to die. But you know, I'm also streaming to YouTube and Twitch, so check that out if you're interested. And yeah, like we're gonna be here until like about 11, and then I'm gonna probably go to sleep, deal with some other things. But I think there's been time like I don't know. And dude, sometimes I get a little bit angry because like I'll join a panel, there'll be like 7 Christians, and I'll literally do a 1v7, and I'll be murking them like one by one, and then I look around and like nobody's there. But then like I'll join like I used to join I Wonders panel, and I'll be like fucking up, and that's when like every atheist friend of mine wants to like watch and be like, oh yeah, he sucks. And I'm like, bruh, I cleared like a fucking like
Dude,
7 the other day.
why don't you take my advice to be people like I Wonder and just like ask them the question like, what's the evidence that the Gospels were written by the authors that they're attributed to, and actually like learn those arguments, because it'll take you like 20 minutes, bro.
Oh, I mean,
and then dude, they'll just say a bunch of nonsense. You could diffuse that, and then there you go. You've absolutely dubbed and like made them look silly. It's a very simple argument, Coco.
yeah, maybe I could try it. But
you need to try it. Like obviously, like Sir can help you out there too, but he really help you out. But yeah, they all hold to these books being written by the people they're attributed to. It's just like just win the debate there. It's easy.
yeah, I mean, like I guess I could try it, but also like 2026, I might be leaving some people behind, and I don't mean that like I don't mean that in like an egotistical way. I just think like 2026, I want to like focus on like, hey, okay, I'm going to start working out. I'm going to start like debating more. I'm going to start reading more. I'm going to like make more of an attempt to like figure out if Christianity is true. I think like being on panels with like I Wonder and stuff like, like I made a video earlier this week. I guess I'm going to sort of talk about it, but I've kind of come to the conclusion that like I don't think that I'm like a good person, right? Like I think I'm gray. I have this philosophy that like most humans, or if not every human, is like an anti-hero. I think we do like good and bad. So like I'm not perfect, but people on this app have done like some fucked up shit to me, right? And like they didn't really apologize or make any attempts to like make amends. And 2026, I think I'm just kind of gonna like move on, and like I'm not really gonna associate with people. I'm just gonna focus on my thing and like the people who love me and treat me with respect. And like certain people, long story short, like certain people don't deserve like space in your life. Like I think it's a privilege for me to be a part of any of your lives, right? It's awesome that you guys talk to me. I think it's a privilege for me to be a part of your life. But I also think that it's like a privilege for people to be a part of my life. And I think that at any time you guys could cut me off, you could block me, and like I don't get access to your life. And maybe I should start like blocking people who like, hey, they don't really respect my time or like my opinions or like the work that I put in. And like, you know, I'm gonna focus on like the people who like love me and stuff. So I don't know. Sorry, I'm talking like a lot. It's like this really big thing that I kind of came to the conclusion of. But I think like I'm gonna focus on like, hey, I want to spend time with like the 13 people that are in here. I appreciate like there are people who are in this live who rather than go to another live, they want to spend time with me and they want to like listen and they want to join my panels. That's fucking awesome. I love you guys. I want to spend time with you guys. I want to be good to you guys. It's not fair that like other TikTok content creators treat me like shit and like I come in here and I act like with an attitude and I take away the good energy I could give you guys because somebody else is like destroying my life, or not destroying my life, you know what I mean? It's weird, like it's a lot of like words, but why would I allow somebody else to fuck up the amazing relationships I have right here, everything I've worked hard for? And it's like we live in a broken world with broken people, and some people aren't worth your space or time or energy. And like certain panels are obviously going to be a waste of time. Like why join a panel where like they don't know anything about evolution? Or like why join a panel where they're going to abuse the mod powers? Like why join a panel where like they don't care about changing their positions or listening to anything I have to say? You know, so like let me collaborate with like the artists that I like, the artists that love me. Let me focus on people who actually deserve the time, you know. But I don't know. Sorry, that was boring. Tell me that tell me if that was boring or not. Yeah, but yeah. But I don't know, that's kind of the philosophy I came to. I think I don't know, like there was this weird thing where like I wonder has wronged me in all these ways, and like we had like one good conversation and we were sort of being friends to each other, and like I was like, hey, we should like make up and try to be friends again. And I think I easily fall for like one good interaction, so like we should be friends again. But no, you know, there are people who hurt you and like they weren't even interested in trying to fix the situation, right? So like why am I trying to be friends with them again? Like they didn't change. They like hurt you and they didn't even try to fix it. They just like let it slide. They don't give a fuck about you. And like just because you have like one good conversation with them doesn't mean they deserve another chance. I think like 2026, I'm gonna be cordial with everybody. I'm gonna drop all the beefs. And yeah, I'll be cordial on panels when I'm with them. But I think that they don't really get access to like my life. They're blocked from my channel. They're not going to get access to me. But if they ever do want to apologize, I did say in the video that they can DM me on my second account and we need to have a conversation where like they tell me everything that I did wrong. I tell them everything I tell them everything that they did wrong, and we talk out, we apologize to one another, and then we can like move on that way. But yeah, like 2026, cutting people out. Let's just keep it pushing. Yeah, that's welcome to my TED Talk. Yeah, but it is what it is. But also, like, you know, I'm not an angel, right? I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I have never wronged anybody on TikTok. Like, I've probably wronged people. I could probably do better at like communicating. I think maybe I don't communicate that well or tell people when they're doing stuff. I need to do a better job at setting boundaries. I need to, you know, be more stern, but that's really it. I'll stop boring everybody here. There's like 15 people here. You guys aren't here for trauma dumping, or maybe you are, I don't know. But it be what it be. But yeah. So yeah, I'm not really gonna join I Wonder's panels. I could use that argument, like, hey, how do you know how do you know the Bible was? How do you know the Bible? How do you know the authors are the authors of the Bible? Yeah. But what if they answer with like something significant? Like, what if I ask them like, how do you know who wrote Exodus? And like they respond with something like, actually like smart. But like, I don't know. It be what it be. Be what it be. Yeah, and yeah. Thank you, Jenny, and also thank you, Lucian. Yeah, I think I don't know. Well, I mean, Lucian, like in the past, you've sort of beefed with some of my friends, but like I don't really have any personal beefs against you. I think you've had issues with like Rebecca, and like so I don't know. Just be a nice person. Like, I don't know, bro. It'd be what it be. But what was I gonna say? Yeah. Like, and also like I was saying the same thing for like other people. I think like I don't know, 13 people in here or 12 people in here. Maybe you could do the same thing. Like for 2026, end all your beefs. Like forgive people so you can be like a beautiful, happy, amazing person. But set boundaries, right? Like just because you forgive somebody doesn't mean that you let them back into your life, right? They don't get access to your life. It's a privilege for anybody to be a part of your life, So like, don't let everybody have access to you. Like, give yourself to the people who respect you, who like love you, who treat you like you're important. And like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, corny ass shit that I'm saying, but like, why would you let somebody like be mean to you, and then like you go out into the world and you're mean and you're ugly, and you let people like have that control over you? They kind of like fucked you up, and the world gets to miss out on like who you are, the amazing person that you are, because somebody did something mean and like fuck that up for everybody that's gonna meet you. Like that's kind of a waste of time. That's kind of the world losing some great individual that we don't get to meet because somebody like messed them up. Like, don't let your enemies win. Drop the beefs, and like, don't give them access. Set boundaries. Block them. And like, the world deserves your happiest self. I think the world wants to see you at your best. And like, we shouldn't let people who are foul individuals take that away from everybody else. I don't know. This is all corny. This is not Dora the Explorer or something, but like, that's just my take. But collaborate with other people. What's up, Buddha?
Same old new day.
Same.
Doing some cooking right now. Thought I would step onto you live.
Okay. Hell yeah, I'm just playing Fortnite and I'm going live for as long as I will. And yeah, I'm just chilling out.
Yeah, I believe that people should believe in God. It's not really like a debatable issue, really. I don't believe it to be. I believe that it's really more of a circumstance by which people don't have a comprehension of what is being said. And so because they don't really have the comprehension, they're searching for answers. And in trying to search for those answers, they're getting the wrong answers from people because they have been taught by people who don't comprehend. And, I've always, ever since I was a child, I've always thought that the Bible was not written for regular people. I've always felt that way. And the reason why I feel like that is because the things that people say after reading the Bible, it shows that they just don't have the capacity. They lack the understanding, the conjunction of what is. If someone tells you, hey, if you want to treat me good, how do you treat me good? And then the person might ask you, well, what is it that you like? And then when you get the answers to that person from that person about what they like, and you deliberately treat them badly, then it's a marker that you did not comprehend, or you just didn't care. And so that's one of the reasons why I believe that it's a communication issue. It's not really a God issue or a Bible issue. It's a mental capacity issue. It's mental illness that people have, and it's sin. It's subjugation to sin. And I think that's why people should believe in God, so that they can learn how to treat people how they would like to be treated, and stop judging based off of circumstances that God had to commit certain actions to play because of the actions of others and their own levels of free will.
I mean, someone could learn how to like treat other people like they want to be treated, without needing to like come to God. So I don't really see the necessity there. But also, like you're saying, like
not necessarily.
I mean, like I would disagree. I mean, like there are Buddhists that don't believe in the Christian God, and they're like pretty chill people.
Yeah, but if you understand, see, I know Buddhism as well, but when it comes to me being a Buddhist, it's not about the fact that I don't believe in a God, because that would be crazy. It would be crazy for me to think that this man who, Siddhartha, decided to leave his household, leave behind all of his possessions, his concubines, his own mother, and all of these different things, and follow the Hindu religion, and which does believe in a high deity, a highest level of deity, the most high deity, being Brahman, that this individual wouldn't have a comprehension of who God was. And so when people think that just because they can say something that makes it facts, where's the comprehension behind what you're saying? How could Buddha not believe in God and believe in God at the same time? And he practices a religion that literally believes in a higher power over all the other gods. And so, that's the thing. People don't comprehend. You can have somebody that treats you the way that you would like to be treated, but how do you like to be treated? Do you like somebody to stomp on you with some stilettos and while you spread your legs? Do you like little balls in your mouth that, whips and chains and stuff?
Wait. What are you talking about? That stuff is all crazy and stuff. But, I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, but like, again, like, I don't see why God is necessary to figure those things out.
It's necessary because he leads you out of the mistakes and warns you of them before it even has an opportunity to take hold on you in the subjugation towards what sin is. He warns you of all of the things and what the possibilities of them taking place are before you even get to the level and have the insight given to you so that you can recognize it before it takes place. And that is wise. That's loving.
Well, I mean, like, you can literally get that from, like, literally mentors. Like,
but mentors aren't going to always do that. They're men.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like, I don't think the Bible always prevents people from, like, making mistakes. Or, like,
no, it's not going to prevent you from doing it, but because you have free will to do it anyway.
Yeah. But, like I don't really think, like...
But it will warn you.
Well, yeah, but, like, you can literally get warnings from, like, other people. Like, you can get warnings.
Yeah, but those other people that are giving you warnings, that's not what... like, let me give you an example. Jesus said, "Go therefore to his disciples and preach to all of the people of the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, etc." But when it comes to him expressing that, he wasn't expressing that to the disciples that they would make to tell them the exact same thing. No, he was asking them according to what he had taught them as a private interpreter of the word. In private, he taught them in private, and in public, he taught the public a totally different message that they could comprehend on their level. So, and that's written. He didn't teach the crowds the same way that he taught his disciples. So when his disciples went and made disciples, those disciples that they probably taught the private interpretation according to the way that Jesus taught the crowds. And the reason why they probably did it, why I believe that they probably did it that way, is because not everything is advantageous. Not everything that you teach is for the advantage of it. It goes towards what its end goal must be. And so if the end goal is to help people to appreciate God and not Christ, because it wasn't ever really about Christ. The Bible's never was not written to glorify the Christ. That was not what it was meant to do. Jesus Christ made it completely known in so many different ways that he was a messenger of God, and that he was the one that was glorifying God, and everything that he did was because his Father said to do so. Nothing came out of his mouth that was not already pre-anticipated by someone that was not him. And so he made that known in so many different ways by saying, why do you call me good? None is good except for God. You know, there are scriptures where he said, I'm ascending to your God and my God, your Father and my Father. He made it known in so many different ways that he was not God, that everything that he did was because God was telling him to do it.
Okay,
So he had a private interpretation, and that private interpretation that he had, he did not teach the crowds that same way, which it's written like that. It lets you know in the Bible that he didn't teach the crowds the same way that he taught the people that he had the private interpretation with.
Wait, hold on. So basically you're saying, like, believe in God because he'll warn you about things. Wait, you're saying, like, believe in God because he'll warn you about things? That's what you're saying?
No. That's not what I'm telling you. God is not one that is not wise enough to know your boundaries and what it is that you're capable and not capable of. So somebody might tell you that if you're gay, God doesn't like you as a person. He doesn't like these people and what they're doing. They're abominations, is what he says. And the person puts that out to you as their interpretation of the scriptures. But the scriptures don't teach that. The scriptures don't teach that being a homosexual is an abomination. But you might think so because you've read a scripture that was created by a private interpreter to interpret it that way towards the crowds. But in all actuality, the scripture that talks about those who will not inherit God's kingdom, it says the effeminate themselves will not inherit God's kingdom, according to 1 Corinthians. So, and there is no way.
Wait, hold on. So, like, I guess let's start from the beginning. Wait, why should someone believe in God?
They should believe in God because he's a friend that is closer than a brother. He's closer than some. It says that he's closer than somebody who's the closest to you. That can even you might think in your brain they speak my love language.
Wait, hold on. Like, what says that he's closer than, like, a brother? Like, what?
It says there is a friend and a God that is sticking closer than a friend or a brother.
Okay, yeah, that's, like, news to me. Like, I've never met God. I've never shaken hands with God. I was, like, a Christian for, like, 23 years. Mm-hmm. I have way closer friends than, like, God himself. Like,
yeah, and that's because of your level of wantingness to ask in a way that was conducive towards your respect for that individual who gave you that love first.
Wait, if you have somebody who's wait, like I literally begged God for, like, a relationship. He never showed his bitch ass up. Like, God was always just, like, hiding somewhere. Like, what do you mean? Like, God's not close to his people at all.
But what kind of respect that you have for him that you would say such a thing? Obviously, you didn't have the respect in the beginning.
I mean, like, I did have the respect in the beginning. Now I have, like, no respect for God.
Yeah, because you were praying, and what way were you praying?
I mean,
were you praying? You were begging this person, but if you beg one of your friends, please have a relationship with me, please, and you're pleading to see him, and they're gonna be like, you're the bitch ass.
Oh, hold on. First, wait. So I was begging God to be in my life. And you're saying that it was bad for me to beg, and God's response to me would be like, shut your bitch ass up? Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? You said
it does make sense.
Wait, because no, hold on. You said God is, like, loving, and he's supposed to be, like, your friend.
Yes, tough love is real.
Wait, hold on. You said God is loving, and he's supposed to be, like, your friend that's closer than anybody else. I'm gonna be honest with you, that Christian bitch is, like, not close to me at all. Like, where is he at? He never showed up. He didn't do anything for me in my times of, like, pain and suffering. If anything, I can call up any of my friends right now and they'd show up for me, right? God didn't show up. He didn't do anything. Like God decided to hide and thought that that was better and watch me go through like a lot of shit than to actually like show up and like do anything in my life. Like, what do you mean he's closer than like any of my friends? Any of my friends would pull up anytime. God doesn't pull up
Yeah,
for
that sounds great, but what way did you seek him?
yeah, so like,
That's how you was seeking God. You were seeking God for him to do something for
hold
you
on. So
instead of learning about what doing for him could improve your circumstances.
wait, you're basically saying like if you begged for God to be there, then like you were being a bitch.
Nope.
And like,
I don't beg God to be in my life.
okay, so like
I can see God in my life because I accept the fact that God is who he is. And if I display the fruitages that he has given me an insight, then I can see him taking notes in my life and I can take note of him.
Right? All of that is great, right? But like, yeah, I wasn't always begging. Sometimes I was just asking. Sometimes I was just like praying. Sometimes I was saying like, God, your will be done. And like, I had no indicator that like God did anything in my life.
Okay, so you had no indicator in your life. Do you have a roof over your head?
What? My dude?
Do you have a roof over your head?
What the fuck does that have to do with God? Yeah, I have a roof over my head because construction workers built the house.
I didn't ask you anything about it having anything to do with God. I just asked you a simple question, and the answer was yes. Do you have food to eat every day?
Dude, my question to you is like, how did God show up in my life? And the things you're asking me,
I'm not asking you any of that. I'm just asking you simple questions. And if you have all of those different things in your life, and there are people who don't have it at all,
consider
the life that they live to be powerful in God, and they have none of that. You are just an ungrateful, egregiously ungrateful little bitch.
No, shut the fuck up. Shut the legitimate fuck up. Like,
legitimately. You're egregiously ungrateful.
No. You're a dumbass, like, motherfucker. I'm asking, like, how did God show up in my life? And you're saying, do you have a roof over your head? Do you have food over your head? Yeah, dude, because people did that. I have, like, a roof over my head because my parents bought a house and take care of me. I have food in my belly because my parents did shit for me. God didn't do jack shit. What the fuck are you talking about? That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my fucking life. Oh, and then you want to talk about people who don't have a roof or like food over their head, and you want to say like, oh, you know, like God just didn't bless them. Oh, cool. So God gave me stuff, but he decided to let people in Africa sit on the street and starve to fucking death and not do anything when he had all the ability to step in and do something. Shut the fuck up with that like stupid ass reasoning. What is that, my dude? Like, be so fucking for real. Like, what's he talking about?
Listen, I was hungry, so I came downstairs for a midnight snack, and I ended up like cooking like a spicy spaghetti, and I happened upon your post.
Yeah.
That said end all beef, and I listened while I was cooking. I'm like, that is a great idea to end all beef. I'm an older person. I'm approaching 50, and you sounded so wonderful. So I said, I'm going to join your life, but I wish you hadn't dropped Buddha, because Buddha Buddha didn't read any Bible at all. Oh, Patrina is on. I love Patrina. Buddha did not read one verse in the Bible, because if he's saying that this God is benevolent and wonderful, he is sadly mistaken. This God is a very I was a Christian for a long time, and then when I finally said, let me read this Bible and understand why this God is so angry, it astonished me, because all you hear in church is, oh, the loving God, benevolent, ask what you will. None of the things in the pages of the Bible are true. And it says in Revelation, the effeminate, the this, the that will not have a part in the kingdom. It may be in Corinthians too, but in Revelation it does say the effeminate, the murderer, the vile, all are dogs outside of the kingdom. So it's talking about like maybe two kingdoms, one on earth and one in heaven. I don't know the confusing shit that is written down. And I never saw it until the beginning of this year. all that reading and all that studying and thinking, this cannot be real. I finally came across TikTok Live's deconstruct. I didn't even know there was a word for this thing what I was feeling, you know. And thanks to young people like you and other people, we can finally we needed God in a way, and then we can finally put him to rest. He served his purpose. I don't know what that was really. It's because we were like we had no confidence.
Yeah.
Our self-esteem was low, so we had to hang on to somebody's teats and until we could, you know, I don't want to ramble, but until we could get confidence, right?
Yeah. Oh no, like you're totally good. Like, yeah, you can like ramble like all you want. Yeah, that guy was like, I don't like, maybe I was being extra, but that guy was like
Yeah, he got under your skin, but with a Buddha star that you have no idols, you shall have no other gods before me, with the Buddha statue. Hello.
Yeah,
like you know, he's like upfronting God. He's slapping in God in his face, and then he's talking about juggling balls. This Christians are the most vile people. I swear, they're the most unhinged, vile, dumb people. I think I'm a nurse. I'm a registered nurse, and while I was a Christian, I was dumb because I believed a snake cannot talk, the donkey cannot talk, and all those things.
Wait, so like, yeah, like some Christians can be like dumb. Some are smart, but like, yeah, the arguments he was making, like, I don't even know where to start.
I know. I saw your exasperation. He's like, ask him and he shall come. Listen, I don't know anyone. There are some disingenuous people that they let a deity into their life and they ask and beg and pray. They mean it. I meant it, and I'm sure you meant it too when you're praying and asking for things, asking to pass exams. But then, listen to this, Mr. Controversial. I read a statistic. It said, I read the 2023 statistic of World Health Organization. I could be mistaken if it's World Health. Listen to this: 4.5 million children under 5 unalive every year. Now let that sink in.
Oh hell yeah!
Murder, car accidents, cancers, you name it, childhood SIDS, wars, famine, hunger, diseases. 4.5 million. So, please God, give me a parking space, and promptly the parking space manifests. But millions of children are dying every year. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, like yeah, be so fucking like for real, like the dude was getting mad at me because I was interrupting him, and he's like, you don't even know what point I'm gonna make. And I literally read that shit from like 60 miles away, right? This dude was asking me, do you have a roof over your head? Do you have like food over your head? Yes. And I was like,
the builders built it. I have a brand new house, and I walked the plot when it was dirt, and the builders were there
building
knocking nails into walls, right?
Yeah, and you wanted to say like God did it, and I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, what do you mean, like, God did it? Like, we literally saw people build the buildings. We see people, like, cook the food. Where was God to be found?
Cook the food, build the buildings. It's because we have no trust in one another, that we are capable human beings. We have evolved a very, very, very long time, and we're at the point where we are now. Our brains are still kind of animalistic because, really, it's a pissing contest.
There's a whole free slot I have right now. I just don't know what the fuck I want to put in it.
Wait, are you talking about a building place, like an area for a building?
I mean, I guess we'll put Ascension.
Oh.
To symbolize flight.
Yeah. But
you guys play the game?
Oh no! I thought he was talking about literal construction.
Oh, I said I have a brand new house, and when I walked to see if they were doing a good job, it was dirt, and then the blocks were being laid and all of that good stuff. So I saw the people who built my house, and then they gave me the keys, and I thanked them kindly. I wrote them a big check, and you know what I mean. And it's nice to know that when you were poor and destitute, I know a lot of poor people, we believe in God, right? A lot of black people believe in God because that's how they beat it into us during slavery. This God that is so benevolent, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't want to bring up the slave issue, but the slave master was winning and he was doing the harm. So where was that God? It's a lot of things that don't make any sense. And if God is a God of love, He has an obligation to his creation, don't you think?
Yeah,
You
I
can't
think
bring
there's
children in
like
the world and not be obligated to them. And if there is a God, we can ask God, God, I don't think you're doing a good job. There are a lot of people on this earth, they are not doing well. And you are cherry picking and you're curry favoring people, and we're going to ask you to stop. Can you imagine if there really is a God? Like you say, there really is a God and we indict him. God, you are indicting you. There really is a God and he's in hiding and humanity indicts this God. I always think of that. I wonder if he's hiding so good. He's such a God that he does not have to contend with humanity.
yeah.
Isn't that,
Also, like also that reasoning that the guy said, like he said, like if I had a roof, if I have food, it must be God. Then, like, I mean, he'd probably be fine with walking up to like a poor person and being like, oh well, God probably didn't love you enough to like give you a roof or
yes.
food. Like, what the fuck? Like,
But what's your name, son? What's your name?
oh, you can call me Coco.
Coco, but that's what we all thought when we saw, right? When we saw the pastor driving the big car that God is. When I was young, like, we must be the scum of the earth because we're poor, and God loves somebody else better because they're driving the big car, they live in the big house. We know how we knew that the person worked and everything, but the favor, God's hands on you and favor. Like when I think about it now, I'm like, yeah, we were duped.
Yeah, it does really make sense. But
Yeah.
actually, speaking of like the beef thing, yeah, like I don't know, it's not like a brand new like philosophy, but it's just that like I'm getting like I don't know, I'm getting old. Where like I'm literally
No,
like
it's no, Coco. It's exasperating to have those nonsensical beasts because for a long time, maybe the last maybe 4 weeks, I'm not going into deconstruction lives anymore because I already like almost put it to bed. Like I don't believe in God anymore. I'm agnostic or atheist. God now the birth of proof is now on God to show Himself and do His thing. And if not, I'm just gonna, because it's almost like when the Christians come, especially if you go in African lives and you hear African Christians talk, maddening. They are the worst Christians. You cannot convince them of anything at all, and their pastors just devour them like meat. They're like, yeah.
I've seen some stories.
Yeah. Anyway, Coco, thanks for letting me up and talking. Maybe you can let back Buddha up and just make mincemeat out of him because he's lost.
Yeah, I kind of sort of regret dropping him, but like that argumentation was like, it was just so bad. Like,
he stumped you there. You were stumped. You're like, what? At my house? My parents? What?
Yeah, like what does that even mean? Like, bro, some people are lost, bro.
Yeah.
But, no, yeah, come back anytime. Feel free to come back anytime.
Thank you very much. And I see that I subscribed already.
Oh yeah, and I think I followed you back. But if not, like I'll follow you after.
Listen, I don't have anything to follow. Like it doesn't matter. What am I? What do you follow? A bunch of deconstruction videos and kind of like fun on the app when I'm off or so. Not really.
Well, I mean, regardless, I just like I follow everybody that follows me, or I try to.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna be in the live.
It's always better to not be alone.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna fall asleep to Coco's voice. He's a nice young man. Coco, you have a girlfriend?
No, I'm single right now.
Oh darn! I have a beautiful 19-year-old. But how old are you?
I'm 27, but
you was an old man, Coco.
Yeah.
You're too old, Coco.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess I'll know.
And she's gonna be a nurse practitioner, Coco.
Oh, okay. I mean, like,
she's gonna have money.
I mean, yeah, she's gonna do big things, but like, I'm just a guy on TikTok working 9-to-5 jobs. She probably wouldn't be into me. Like,
she's into the books right now.
Like, I don't know. But we'll see, I guess, or I don't know how to respond.
He's like, no. You'll get a girlfriend. Maybe actively seek. Maybe you can do a live where you like ask the women to come up to like a little dating live, like carve out a segment or Hey, Coco, listen, you want to stop the beef? Forget the other channel. Carve out a portion where it's like, date Coco the atheist.
I'll consider it. I'll consider
And then
it.
have the girls come up and yeah.
I mean,
Somebody said yes.
we'll see. We'll see. I'll consider it.
All right, darling. All right, son. Take care and listen. All right, take care.
Yeah, definitely. I'll see you around.
Yes. Bye bye.
Hey, Coco, I'm seconding that message right there. We for sure need the dating channel.
Oh no. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm cooking right now, so I'm gonna stay muted. But I do have a question for you regarding the prompt. I'm gonna just remain quiet for a few minutes.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. I'll be chilling. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe in the future, maybe in the future I'll date somebody. I think I don't know. To be honest with you guys, I'm kind of okay with dying alone and just at best having an apartment, a black cat, a job that I like. I'm okay with being alone, but it'd be cool to be with somebody. I guess figure my stuff out and find somebody. But I like my alone time. I like being in my room and editing videos and
I like the idea of having a kid. Like me personally, I'm an orphan, so I've always imagined adopting. But when it comes to the idea of a relationship, man, women are evil.
Well, okay,
women
I'm
are
not sure
evil.
about that.
I mean,
they
that
can be.
that says more about the quality of women you going for.
Yeah, it
than the
depends.
women
100%. I
themselves.
agree.
Yeah, it really depends. But I think a relationship would be nice, right? To be with an amazing person that I share values with, and it'd be cool if someone came up to my house and they opened the door and they see my beautiful girlfriend. That'd be awesome. But also some people are scared to die alone, and I think I'm totally okay with dying alone and having a cat and a job and an apartment. I wouldn't mind that either.
Just letting the cat eat you when you pass.
To be honest, yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I like my alone time. I like editing videos and doing this stuff on TikTok, and I don't need a girlfriend to be happy, and I hang out with my friends. And yeah, my friends.
Just in your will, right, and let my cat devour my flesh.
Yeah, and my friends will get married, and I'll just visit their weddings, and I'm okay being alone. And also kids, why the fuck do I want to bring kids into this terrible fucking hellscape of a world? What the fuck? Do you see what Donald Trump is doing? Do you see how the world is terrible? How housing prices are going up, taxes, and life sucks, and then we got Christians.
You guys want to talk about that? Let's talk about how Donald Trump is trying to mask these wars that he's trying to start with Canada and Venezuela over goods.
Oh God, and also okay, wait, no fires, no shots at the Christian. I'm being respectful. The other Christian guest was kind of what the heck was he talking about? But I'll be respectful because I'm friends with Prince. But if Christianity is true and it's possible that someone could go to hell, why would I even want to have kids and give them the risk of going to hell? It's
Yeah, I agree. I have the same thoughts. And then outside of that, obviously, like you said, this world is terrible. I mean, as a black man, I always think about the unneeded hatred that we always receive, the amount of emotional distress that my son is going to go through, or sexually leaded attacks that my daughter would go through. I mean, this world is terrible.
Yeah, but also I mean, I'm a non-believer, but I don't know, if Christianity ends up being true, why would I bring somebody into this world and they'd have to compete in this world and risk going to hell? That'd be pretty bad. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. Also, I think I don't know, before I date anybody, I probably want to figure out anxiety and whether I believe in God or not, and probably have a good job and a car and my own place.
Coco, when you said that the other day, I thought that was really commendable. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but when you were talking the other day on that live, maybe it was yesterday or the day before, you were saying that you don't date just in case you unbeknownst to you, lead somebody to hell. That's extremely commendable, bro. It takes a real man to even think about that.
Oh yeah, because I don't know. I think like I dated before, and there was this like amazing person that I thought was like amazing. I was like, this person's my world. And if some
Did
if
she
you
take your money?
oh no, but like if you love somebody, if you want what's best for them, like like that would include probably the afterlife if the afterlife is real. And like I don't want to like date somebody and be like, I'm atheist, God doesn't exist, and they become atheist, and we both die and we end up going to like hell. Like that'd be terrible. Like why would I want my loved person to go to hell and suffer for eternity? So I think like I really need to figure out like, does God exist or does God not exist? And then like I can truly love somebody else and like help them to be the happiest person that they can be. But yeah, like I don't know. And yeah, and also this is kind of just like this is just a byproduct of my fears of hell. I don't want to go to hell, and I don't want to lead people to hell. Yeah, like I don't want to bring people down with me. I want to figure out like what the truth is and all of us prosper. I want everyone to prosper. I want to be someone who helps people to live their best lives, not like I don't want to be the guy that damns everybody. That'd be horrible.
You know what, Coco? I hate you now because now I have the fear of, hey, what if I find a way to completely disprove God to the natural world that they know of at the moment? But we then find out later, fuck, I was wrong. Now no one's ever going to believe in God again. So now everyone's going to go to hell.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But like,
fuck, why'd you do this to me?
I'm an overthinker. So like, this is the kind of shit that, yeah.
Like, that's unrelated. Hold on. That's unrelated. One, would both of you be determinists?
I don't know what that is.
I'm a hard determinist.
Okay. Do you think that every action has a prior cause?
I mean, technically.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Also principles.
And that cause would happen because of that. The action happened. What? Okay. The output of Y happened because of input of X, right?
Not in all cases.
Not literally, right? It can be any. It's not linearly, right? Like you can have an input of X, and then that you have different outputs.
Okay. Baby.
Okay, cool. So, because of that, right? If the person you're talking with or have a relationship with going to end up believing that God isn't real, well, that just means they already have, like, if you were that final nail on the head, if you're the final nail, right, then they already have the necessary priors or necessary beliefs or narratives that allow them to be receptible to you. So they would have eventually lead to atheism, since they already have the necessary conditions to be atheists. So it really wouldn't matter if it's you or not, if they already have the necessary conditions.
I feel like I need to clarify. Hold up.
Right.
For my analogy, I don't know if it was the same as Coco's. Coco stopped me if it was different. Ready?
No, I don't think it was different. It was like mostly similar.
What I'm saying here is, with the amount of technology that we have today, I find definitive, unnegatable proof God doesn't exist. Makes everyone in the world atheist, therefore everyone stops looking for God. And in some, not all, Christian worldviews, simply not believing in God gets you sent to hell. If that specific Christian worldview is right, I have now damned every single person to hell, because no one will ever look for God again. Therefore, no one will ever embrace the grace of God. And
If
that
Dante
is
Inferno
the
is
new
true, you're
fear
gonna
that
be at the
Coco has
worst
already.
level. You're gonna get cooked.
Like, no, I don't care about me in that instance. I care about everyone else that I essentially fucked over by being too smart for them, but not smart enough to
Well,
find God.
what I was trying to get at, right, was that like it really isn't your choice to make if you're that final nail in the coffin. You know,
Oh,
like they will not believe in God if they already have the necessary conditions, the necessary priors, the necessary narrative, beliefs, what have you.
Yeah,
If you're that final nail on the coffin.
Yeah, so basically, like, they had like the preconditions to where like you were just like the final like needle in the haystack, and like even if it wasn't you, it probably would have been someone else, and like they would have been atheists regardless.
Exactly.
Okay, I feel better now. No, it's a matter of I had a legitimate fear, and we
Don't let them
walked
get
through
you
it.
too excited because you definitely are held accountable for the sins that you cause against other people. There are multiple Bible verses that, at least in our own paradigm, right? We talk about there are like super severe consequences for anyone that leads children to do wrong. And then there's like a bunch of Bible verses that talk about the knowledge that you have compared to the actions that you did. So if you knew you shouldn't have did it and you did it, or if you didn't know and you did it, there's
hold
different
up.
severity in the consequences.
I think you don't understand the analogy I posed.
I was just contesting the part where you were like, "Oh, okay, I'm good. You guys put me at ease." Like, no. Just because those people would have became atheists doesn't mean that if your action is the one that pushed them over the edge, you won't be held accountable.
Yeah, but Black doesn't care about himself.
Like, no, it's a matter of if I gotta be standing in front of the fire to protect everyone else, I'll stand in front of that fire. I've already done it. My nerves are already fucked up on that regard. But if it got to before we talked through it, if it got to a point to where I found the origin of the universe or found a way to go back in time and we have definitive proof Jesus didn't resurrect due to me going back in time, and that now makes it to where the whole world becomes atheist because, damn, Black Stallion proved that no matter what, no God could exist. Whole world becomes atheist. And the Christian worldview that says, if you don't believe in God, you immediately go to hell is right. That now makes it to where I've made it to where no one else will ever search for God again. Therefore, every baby born is now immediately going to hell. That was my analogy.
I would add real quickly, if we're going to go with a Christian paradigm with that concept of hell, I believe that specific one is usually about free will. Well, if that Christian paradigm is true on all accounts, including free will, then it would still not be your fault because they chose to listen to you. They chose to not believe in God. So again, it will be their own responsibility.
Thank you again.
Yeah, like I guess for me, like
I right now, but I'd agree with that.
Or like I guess for me, like I don't know. I don't want to be like the last needle that breaks someone's back and makes them like atheist. I do want to lead people in like the right direction, but yeah, like I sort of get what you're saying, but then like yeah, I don't want to be the needle that like tilts somebody in the wrong.
Wait. Okay, Coco. If Christianity is true and you would believe in Christianity, would you also believe in the free will part as well?
I guess, yeah.
Okay, so if the Christian paradigm is true, then even if you are interacting with another person, it would be of their own free will to believe in Christianity. So it would not be you with the final nail. It would only be you as a final nail if, and only if determinism is true, and if you are right about atheism.
Well, yeah, but like, yeah, like of course people would have like free will, but like, if I aided in influencing them to use their free will to make a bad choice, like, that'd be problematic.
Well, why would that be problematic if is influence If it's influence, that does. If free will is a thing and influence is a thing, then it would still be of their own free will to still follow that influence.
Yeah, but yeah, I get what you're saying, but also like,
listen, if the Christian paradigm is true, it really isn't your fault because they have their own free will. If you are right in your atheism, then that follows that determinism is true. Therefore, even if you're the final nail on the head, you did not send them to hell at all because you are right with determinism, i.e. also right with atheism.
yeah, but if Christianity is true, and yeah, they chose with their free will to like follow you, but like you still like it's kind of like if Christianity is true, and let's say there's a hypothetical cliff, and I'm like telling everybody to follow me, and I'm walking towards the cliff, and I'm gonna fall off the cliff. Like, yeah, they all had free will, and they all chose to follow me. But at the same time, I led them off a cliff, and we all fell into that Christianity cliff.
But the thing is, they are only responsible for themselves if free will is true. You are not responsible of them.
But like, if I had known better, I could have led them away from the cliff.
You could have, but again, free will. So they would only listen to what they will, right?
Yeah.
Coco, it's on the level of you have the ability to put up whatever sign you want. They have the free will to read the sign.
Exactly.
Which, yeah, I get that. It'd be what it would be.
I honestly think you.
Who is this? I'm already.
I think that you definitely need to look in different conceptions of hell, Coco.
Oh yeah, like yeah, definitely. I've sort of dived into it because I read some stuff when I was doing like a Pascal wager video.
Nice.
But
yeah, like or actually no, afterlives in general. Just look into other conceptions of afterlives.
She says the same thing. Like if I study like other religions, maybe it might like dispel like how I view certain religions. It's like you'll see like religions that predated Christianity and like similarities and be like, hey, maybe this is not what I think it is. But
because I just think you need a broader perspective.
Yeah, me too. Like a broader lens.
Yeah, because like you can, and I would say this is true of like a Christian digging into atheism, right? Like, or just like a Christian who is similar in your position, right? Like they will spend time and time and time and time and time in digging into this belief, or non-belief, but like constantly struggle with it. Like I feel like if you just have a change of scenery of a belief system, it would give you a perspective that allows you to like at least handle the conception of the Christian hell a lot more better.
Yeah, I agree. But
you don't even have to read anything. You can just listen to a podcast or something.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. But yeah.
Or play the Hades game.
All right, there is this game called Dante's Inferno, I think, where like this guy's wife gets sent to hell and he battles through hell to save his wife, basically. I think that game is pretty cool.
Yeah, the Hades game is similar to that. It's I forgot the character's name, but he's supposed to be the son of Hades. Hades. Yes, Hades.
Son of Hades and Persephone. I can't remember exactly what his name is supposed to be.
It's
just like
starts with a Z or something.
It's one of those. stupid Greek names that didn't get popular. Therefore, there's no Americanized translation of it.
And that's only because he's supposed to be Dionysus, right? So the story was that Zeus. So the original Greek story, Zeus had a relationship with a woman. Surprise, surprise. But this specific child that this woman was carrying was supposed to be the next prince or whatever that's going to take over Zeus or something like that, right? But that did not happen. What happened after that is like Zeus consume him or something, or attach him to his leg, and then that being ends up becoming Dionysus. So that's why that name didn't get popular, because technically he's dead. At least in the story.
Interesting. But yep. Well, I don't really got much. Are there any other interesting lives?
No. Just tiny.
Yeah, just tiny science.
And Haru.
Yeah.
Oh wait, if we're in a low, there's something I did want to bring up when it came to the debate. I want to say it was like yesterday or 2 days ago.
Go for it.
For all the statistics that Wi-Fi brought up,
yeah,
to me, all those showed is Christians don't take the time to truly think about the future, therefore leading to calamity in the material. To where that's all I got from that, and I know that's not what he was going for. Because inherently, just having kids isn't a good thing. Having kids when you know you're in a good position is, but the best way to know if you're in a good position is to go to college. But the reason why Christians don't go to college is because they don't have a focus on education. Now, I'm not saying Christians are bad for not having a focus on education. I'm just saying you've essentially poisoned your own well, and I didn't know that was possible.
I feel about it. But no, yeah. I get what you're saying. And I was thinking, like, maybe I need to run it back and debate on the same topic, but we'll see.
Yeah, that poisoning of your own well is called nuclear family, and what's the word? Genderification or something like genderification, and or gender reconstruction. I need to look it up again. I just saw it.
Gender reconstruction is when you change your gender.
That's not it then.
The nuclear family is just the argumentation of, oh, you need to have a father, a mother, and 2 children guaranteed, which I personally find to be stupid on a different level.
Oh, gender reproduction. That's the word
yeah.
But,
and just like internalizing fucking
misogyny.
Yeah. Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. But honestly, if there's nothing else, I'm probably gonna call it a night. I'm gonna go check out the other.
It's not necessary for pain for it to be morally relevant.